Yeah, and so that was when I started watching football every week on Sundays, and the Redskins got coverage a lot. So so I watched that Super Bowl that year. That was the first one I ever watched, and was cheering for the Redskins to win. And
I have a somewhat similar story. Like I was 5 years old, and the Steelers were obviously winning at that point. This is 1979, so we're working on our fourth Super Bowl in 5 years at that point.
6 years.
Isn't it 5?
It was 4 and 6 years.
Whatever. Close enough. You haven't done that, have you? All right. So,
Nope.
So anyway, they were winning, and I remember my dad buying me my first pack of football cards, and inside was Mean Joe Green. I was like, well, hell, I love this guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want,
It said Mean Joe Green right on the card. I was
it's-
just like, okay, this is my favorite player. This is my favorite team. I want them to win.
It was like probably my second or third pack of Fleer cards. I got an Emmitt Smith card. My second. And so I can relate. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was the first thing I did.
Before Fleers, just saying. I'm old, but
I was a connoisseur at like 8 years old of football cards. I had Topps, I had Fleer, I had Ultra Pro, and I had different binders for them and stuff.
No, that's great.
Yeah, I had Beckett's.
No. I grew up poor, man. I had very very few cards.
I haggled people, like everyone in my family and stuff. That was if they were trying to do something nice for me. That's what I was trying to get out of them at that time was football cards.
That was your jam. I got you. That was your Pokemon at the time.
Yep. Yes, it was.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I wish I'd gotten into it that early. Like at that time, I was still, I wanted to see the Steelers win if they were on TV, and I wanted the Rams to lose because I'd like to heckle my dad. And other than that, at that age, I didn't have a whole lot of thought other than that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Then my brother moved in with me when he was 15 years old, and the first Sunday we're watching football together, right? And we're watching the Steeler game, and we're about halfway through the first quarter, and he's rooting against the Steelers just to heckle me like I used to do to my dad. And so we get about halfway through, and big play happens for the other team, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what?" I just turned around, I was like, "Look, buddy, this isn't gonna work. If you're gonna live in this house with me, and we're gonna watch football together, you're gonna have to like the Steelers, or this just ain't gonna happen." And to his credit, the next week he cheered for the Steelers, and now he's a Steelers fan. But I could not handle it. I was just like, no, this is breaking my will right now.
That's funny.
I don't want to go fight my little brother.
Yeah, my girlfriend is a 49ers fan, and she's diehard 49ers fan. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm a little more flexible now. 10 years ago, it would have been like war, but since I've gotten really competitive over fantasy football, I find that I care a lot less when they lose on Sundays, because it's like, well, I mean,
so we're ready to go when you
it
guys
didn't
are ready.
affect my team.
I have my fantasy team too, yeah.
So, yeah, we are now live. What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 4.
Week 4.
Hey.
That's right. So, maybe we should just dive right into it and go over the results of last week. I think we both won, or we all won one of our Lone Wolf games.
Well, after tallying the results of last week, what we can tell you is that Brian is in first place with 26 correct picks. I'm in second place with 23, and Ray is in third with 20.
And I will expand that lead this week.
By negative points.
All right, so how did the fantasy go, everybody? How did fantasy go?
I was playing Murder Valiants. What's
you
up,
got the
Juan?
bye week?
Oh, man.
Well, the DraftKings. I'm sorry. Let's do the DraftKings.
Oh,
How did our DraftKings results go?
Oh, actually, I'm not. I don't remember.
DraftKings.
Did we do that live when it happened at the end? Because I think I lost again.
So
feel
just
like we all
go
did
my
well.
I
contest.
think you did just because Ray and I both posted our scores and you didn't. So that's what I remember.
Oh, then I need to check.
So I scored a 125.12.
And I think I scored like a 124 something.
Just go to your
I'm
DraftKings
looking, I'm
app, My Contest, and a recent. It'll show last week's.
Yeah, I 124.46 was mine. So you beat me by half a point.
So hold on.
And then my tournament lineup just failed at 107, so my tournament lineup sucked. But that's just to be expected. Tournament lineups, you're just going to hit every now and again, and when you do, you just hope you go deep. Unless you're Ken and you just win every
No,
week.
I had 128 points.
Did you really? Look at that. 128, 125 to
128 even?
124.
128.
Even, huh? Okay.
Yes, 0.00. Panthers defense, baby. You know what? And they were posting a shutout all the way into the fourth quarter. It was looking epic, like
That's right.
because the Saints got into Panthers territory, like inside the 30 and coughed the ball up, and they coughed the ball up twice and missed a field goal. Like Will Lutz missed like a 45-yard field goal, so it was just like, this is gonna happen.
Almost.
But it was still good. You know, I'll take a
picking
touchdown,
Carolina
like 5
defense.
sacks and 3 turnovers. I'll take that.
Yeah, dude, Carolina defense. That's a good pick right there.
It was a good call. I wouldn't run it back. I don't think. You know, I wasn't
this week?
I wasn't overly impressed by anything that Carolina did. I think that New Orleans just shot themselves in the foot, like I thought they were going
Absolutely,
to over and over
Yeah.
and over again.
And
And
saw
you know
that
what's
coming.
and it wasn't Jameis though. I thought it was going to be Jameis. It wasn't Jameis because the touchdown wasn't a pick six. It was an Alvin Kamara fumble.
Oh. So how's Kamara been looking in your opinion? I mean, I know we're a little off topic as usual, but
Kamara looks fine. There was a run in the first quarter in particular where he starts off of left tackle and cuts back inside the guard because the pursuit is coming to close off, and so he completely leaves the one open man on the other side of the tackle box and cuts back and is able to get like 25 or 30 yards, something like that. But that was the only real big play he had all day. The problem is that, and it's funny because I heard some commentary about this afterwards. The problem is that Jameis doesn't dump the ball off. That's the problem.
Yep.
Because Kamara's, money, the way he made you money in the past, in his whole career, is Drew Brees would take one look and then throw it to Kamara.
now
Take one look, throw it to Kamara.
Can we give the same analysis for McCaffrey?
No.
No, why not?
Because McCaffrey's getting the ball.
But he's getting the
No, he
ball
looks
up the
great.
middle. He's not
No,
getting
he-
getting the little dump offs. He's not getting these little screen passes.
No,
Okay.
Here's why I'm more in on McCaffrey.
I love how he looks. I don't like how he's
So
being used.
I had a trade offer out to somebody, and after watching the game this weekend, I rescinded it because here's what I think about the Carolina offense. I think they're getting better. Their offense runs through McCaffrey, and they are getting better. So if you look at DJ Moore, and DJ Moore is the guy that everybody's down on right now, he's got 6 targets in all 3 games so far. And the only reason that's not more like 9 or 10 or 11 is because they've been going with so many 3 and outs throughout the game. So once the offense starts to click a little bit, and it did in this game, Baker finally started to look comfortable and not like he was running for his life sometime in the third quarter. And they were able to move the ball. Against the New Orleans defense, which is, not a bad defense. So I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be like, all right, let's run back on DJ Moore. I want to, but I'm not. I'm also done burying them until we see what happens this weekend, because to me they built some momentum in this game. They didn't look terrible. They if it not for a couple of drops, they could have scored more points.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna love my tournament lineup this weekend, then.
Oh boy, here we go. I think that McCaffrey is going to start scoring touchdowns, and that's the only thing that's missing right now. You look at what he's doing. The only thing that's missing is touchdowns. He doesn't.
And his receptions.
The receptions
are way down.
They're not way down. They're not way down. He's still averaging 4 a game.
And it was
6.
Was it?
Yeah,
It sure
no,
feels like it was a lot more than 6 before.
So 6 a game gets you 96 catches.
And what was he before the hurt years?
That's
You
what I'm
happen
saying.
to know?
He did. So
Wasn't it over 100 though?
He did do a couple over 100, but
Right.
that's one more catch a game.
Okay.
So
And now we're in 17. I'm just saying, 7
Yeah.
catches a game from McCaffrey on the outside.
you're not going to
in
get that.
space.
You're
Oh
not.
my God.
You're not. You're
Like,
not going.
that's-
You're not
But
going to
that's
get.
where he made his hay. That's where.
No, I disagree because I disagree with that because he's also a 100-yard rusher. Like he's a threat to rush the ball 100 yards, and he averages about 5 yards
But
a carry.
again, like
and he's
in
still
space, like there.
It's
he's
not
never been
just
that
in
up the middle
space.
runner.
I'm
He's-
telling. Okay, listen. I'm trying to tell you.
That's not what I remember.
He's not an up the middle runner. He's a bounce the ball outside runner, and he can still do that. He can still beat people to
But
the
aren't
edge.
they trying to use him as an inside runner
No.
right now?
Not really. I didn't. I
Feels
didn't
like it a little bit. Like I said, I didn't watch the whole game. I'm watching highlights. I'm listening to analysis, but
I didn't get that. They have a number of plays that were designed to be through the middle, but it's not like just plunging him into the middle. They have these trap plays and stuff like that, and I think the reason they design their offense like that is because of his quickness, because he can get through those holes. And so, like I said, as their offense gets a little more comfortable, I think they're going to get better. I think they're going to start to put up points. They looked good. They looked good. Offensively, they looked good. Better than they did now. Like they scored me a bunch of points in fantasy defensively, but I thought they looked better offensively than they did defensively.
Hey guys, how many?
Although they do have some playmakers on defense. Jeremy Chin is a baller.
How many postseason games are there? Postseason weeks 4.
4.
And then the Super Bowl?
Yeah. No. Including the Super Bowl. It's wild card, divisional, championship, Super Bowl. Yeah. So I'd be much more worried about Kamara, so honestly, I'm interested to see what happens, and we can go ahead and start talking about Game 1 since we're talking about the Saints.
Okay.
Because
Sounds good.
The Game 1 of the week it should be the Vikings and Saints.
Vikings and Saints.
Andy
At
Dalton
Saints.
is going to play instead of Jameis Winston.
Right.
Michael Thomas is out.
Yep.
Jarvis Landry is doubtful, but he just kind of plays. He just kind of suits up and plays all the time, and it was just a sprained ankle. Like he didn't when he left the game, he didn't come back and didn't look good. But like I said, he's Jarvis Landry, and it's a sprained ankle, so I expect he'd probably play. I think that Andy Dalton might make Kamara better because he's more likely to dump the
agree
ball
with
off.
that. Yeah.
And like I said, that's the thing that's missing for Kamara is that he's just like Jameis will take the shot down the field into coverage rather than just dump the ball off to Kamara. Whereas I think Andy Dalton is much more likely to dump the ball
like that
off
point,
than
yeah.
take a shot. So Kamara could be a really, really, really good play this weekend. I have him in one of the leagues that I care about, so I'm hoping for that.
I have been too, so
and
I'm
I did,
hoping to.
And I just traded him off in a deal that included me getting back Saquon Barkley. So
Oh yeah, you told me a little bit about that.
yeah, and I'm like, and after watching the game, like, if Jameis is going to be the quarterback, then I feel much like I feel even better about making that deal, because based on the way that they're playing the offense, like Kamara has to score touchdowns.
Yeah, and
He'll-
especially
like, just-
Dynasty. I
and-
mean, if you're just talking Kamara versus Barkley, especially the way
Yeah,
Barkley's
2
looking
years
right
in
now,
age, Barkley
yeah.
looks like RB1. He looks,
Yeah,
he looks like
absolutely
he's
is
back as
Barkley,
RB1. Yeah. Because he's just more of a threat out of the backfield
Yeah.
to catch the ball than Jonathan Taylor is. So I think you just
Yeah,
like, you'd rather have
and the part of the part of the trade that I was a little dubious about was the other parts. You know, what I
Josh
mean? 'Cause,
Allen for the other parts.
the
So
other-
and that's what I
losing Josh
so
Allen, which was I know was a
the-
super early pick for you.
It was my first pick, and that was heartbreaking. But I was so worried about not being able to get out of Kamara and being offered Barkley.
So basically, you're seeing Kamara as a sinking ship right now.
I do.
Okay.
I saw him like, and I got him.
Well, that's a hot take.
And I
That's
got
good
him
to
in.
know.
I got him in the 5th round. So it was
Dynasty.
of Dynasty. So it felt great. I got him like 2 picks after Zeke or something like that, and I would have taken Zeke if the guy had taken Kamara.
Wow.
and I would
You
feel
take Zeke over Kamara.
No, but I would feel better about this season than I do about Kamara this season. Like, who knows about next season and what they're going to do after the Saints finish going 5-12. But
You think it's that bad for the Saints this year?
I kind of do.
You don't think they put it together? I mean, they've got a strong defense. or they're supposed to on paper.
They struggled again. Like I said,
that's why I said they're supposed to on paper.
So I was talking up the Panthers 5 seconds ago. Let me flip my face around and and talk.
I want to do something about your webcam. We
and,
gotta show your face more.
Let me flip my face around and talk about
Maybe get you
how
one of
bad
these two.
the New Orleans defense might actually be, and that's disappointing because they were one of the we're going into draft season for fantasy. They were one of the 2 or 3 defenses that I targeted as a defense that I'd be willing to draft and like run it all year. So they're not working out to be that defense at all.
No, sir.
Yeah, so that's concerning because they're gonna have to throw the ball. So they're not going to be in positive game scripts where Alvin Kamara is going to be able to get 18 carries because like they did. Was that week 1? It was a lot. He had a lot of carries in week 1. It was a lot of carries.
Did nothing with it.
He wasn't in scoring opportunities. And if they're going to be behind and Jameis is going to be the quarterback, then he's not going to get the ball a whole lot because Jameis is going to be looking for Olave.
All right, so Kamara might have a better week. How do we feel in general? Like, what about the other side with the Vikings here? I mean, obviously you're always playing Jefferson. How do you feel about Cousins this week? Cousins been a little bit up and down. Cook. I mean, obviously you're playing if you got him, but how do you feel about it?
Cook is supposed to play, and obviously you're running him if he says.
Yeah, the shoulder thing isn't an issue. If you know, that's something we should address. Cook in the last couple of years, he has had a dislocated shoulder thing. And I feel like I can speak to this with a little bit of authority because I have a shoulder that likes to dislocate. And I feel like I had a very fairly similar thing to him in that once you're used to that poppage, once it's popped out and you kind of like get it back in, and it's like the recovery time changes. Like the first time that it happened for me, like the recovery time was weeks. The second time it happened, it was a week. Third time it happened, it was a couple of days. You know what I mean? And so each time, as your shoulder kind of, I guess, gets used to that damage, whatever you want to say, the recovery time for me went down. And it also seems to be doing the same thing with Cook. Last year and the year before, I think he had the same issue, had the same thing happen, and both years, I believe, he came back the very next week, or very, very short.
There was last year he had a Thursday night game to play. Like he got hurt on Sunday and then had a Thursday night game
and
to
played,
play.
Right?
Yeah, and played well. Like he scored 2 touchdowns.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like I say, I wouldn't be worried about the shoulder injury. I'm actually kind of a little bit sad about that. I've got Madison in my Dynasty League. I was really looking forward to playing him this week, but he is back on my bench because I thoroughly expect Cook to play and probably do well.
Yeah, McCaffrey did really well. So I would expect Dalvin Cook to have success as well.
Oh, against the Saints?
Yeah. They've just been struggling. They gave up over 100 yards to Leonard Fournette.
They're not the defense they were supposed to be.
No.
What a
they're
busy.
not.
What's up?
Hey, what's up? Their defensive line is struggling. They really are. They're not getting to the quarterback. And maybe, and you know what? I didn't bring that up. Maybe that's why Baker looked comfortable, is because he was playing against the Saints and they just weren't able to get to him.
Right.
I don't know. Well, like I said, we'll see with Baker Mayfield. You asked about Kirk Cousins, and I'm back to playing Kirk Cousins in plus matchups, and that's it.
And I'm right there with you. To me, he's a really good streamer. Like I'm going to want to stream him in probably 8 matchups over the year. But he's not somebody you can feel confident in, and especially not in a bad or a primetime matchup.
If you had drafted Kirk Cousins, like if you had just like skipped out on quarterback and were like, well, I'm just going to draft Kirk Cousins in round 12. Like you're already streaming quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I did that in one league, and yes, I am.
Let me get a word in when you guys are ready.
Yeah, please.
All right. So, what a bazy. I was just curious if any advice that we gave you from last week helped you with any of your fantasy, if you even took any of our advice.
Right.
Let us know.
Just ignored us.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it helped you stay away from bad decisions too.
Right.
Let us know the results of what you did with our advice. Is it cold? Was it cold?
Yeah, it's cold.
Okay. And you said you wanted a mug, huh? All righty.
I'll be fine.
Does it? You guys can.
Never mind, I've got my mug.
Okay, well, actually, I think we're about ready to pick this game. We've got Vikings Saints. Honestly,
That's right.
I'm not sure what the line is on this game, but I feel like it's got to be fairly close. I feel like it's fairly close here. God, I'm
we
going to
get
go ahead
that
and take
info?
the better team here and go with the Vikings on the road.
Can we find out what the line is on the game? You're going to go with the Vikings?
Vikings on the road, yeah.
Well, now remember, they're both on the road. This is the London game.
We did not mention that yet. Definitely the London game.
Yes,
so,
this is
yeah,
this
everybody's
is
on the road.
game.
Everyone's got the hard trick.
Remember,
about that.
get up early, watch football. Football's happening
that's
at
right.
6 o'clock in the morning,
6
baby.
a.m.
Love
6
it.
or 6:30? 6:30, right?
6:30. There should always be a London game. Like, can we get there?
If I was a player,
Like, so if
I would
if
have
the
some words for
Jaguars,
you.
like if this team takes off, the Jaguars, and they become like a contender, can they move to London? Can that happen?
Well, they're already like a London team.
London loves them.
And well, they've
Jaguars.
played so many times over there, and yeah.
All right, so so we got What a Busy. He's saying that his I know the name Olave.
That's Olave.
And Cowboys East came in clutch for the W. He scored
Yeah,
the most
buddy.
points. And then Juan C. I don't think I've seen Juan C. So if you're a first time chatter,
That might be Murder Valiants.
he's saying that he thinks Kamara will get more carries this week with Dalton starting.
Yeah.
That's his
Yep.
comment.
And he's a Saints fan.
If not carries, then catches.
Is my mug up there?
Yeah.
Can you hand me my mug, please? You snaked yours home.
Oh yeah, dude.
You use it at home?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I've got it up on my shelf. Like, I'm not much of a beer drinker, so I've got it like up on my cabinet, just kind of like perched up there, you know.
When you get a
But
chance,
when you
hand me
can
a beer.
drink it out of a mug this size, who's not a beer drinker?
There you go.
Where's the YouTube
That's
feed?
awesome.
Give me
So
1
Olave
second, and I
the
will
Cowboys D
share
worked out
with
for
you
him.
the
That's awesome.
YouTube
That must
feed.
have felt really good.
Let me see here.
Because I was happy about the Cowboys D. They look so good.
Yeah.
That's the next game we have to talk about.
And
We're-
from a fantasy
so-
perspective, what a turnaround! Because Cowboys D has been a joke for years.
my whole
years.
my whole life, so there was when I first became a fan, they were the number one defense. They were loaded on.
This
defense.
is when you were 7.
Yeah, 90. So in 92 and 93, the Cowboys had the number one overall defense and offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in 95 they had the number one defense, and then they never again. They have not done that since. I don't believe. Like, there might have been one of the years in the DeMarcus Ware era, like the 2007 season maybe, but I don't think so.
So
They've never been this good.
The over under.
It's like I've not seen them this good since Deion Sanders was on the team.
Nice.
You guys had to ask for the line. So,
Yes,
so the
please.
over under is 41.5.
Uh-huh.
Vikings versus Saints money line is Vikings minus 165, Saints plus 140.
So slam the over on that. It's 41.5. Slam the over hard. And so
Wow, you like the over there?
Oh,
like
yeah.
in London?
Oh yeah.
Because don't the London games kind of tend to be on the under?
They the London games tend to be kind of goofy, but these teams
agreed
are
there, yeah.
these teams are really talented. Both of these teams are really talented offensively, and that's the thing we don't
But
get.
one's
From,
missing all their weapons.
what we don't get from they got a Kamara and Olave.
Okay, but missing
Olave is really good.
I
I
don't disagree, but
Um,
Michael Thomas is pretty good too.
they also have Taysom Hill. This could be a Taysom Hill game. This could be a Taysom Hill game.
Put him in as like if you got him, like, would you want to start him as tight
No,
end?
I'm just saying, like, if you're running DFS lineups, you know,
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, let's say you're running
DFS
Irv
lineups and
Smith
you make
or
more.
Conklin
I'm
or
just
something
saying,
like
I'm
that.
not saying choose him over somebody. I'm saying, like, if you're running lineups and you're making more than one, make one with him in it.
just in case.
Yeah. So, I have trouble getting on the side of either of these teams right now, because the Vikings shouldn't have won last week, and the Saints got destroyed by the Panthers.
I know. It makes it rough. Huh?
Like that game was not really close. It wasn't as close as
and
the
like
final
you say,
score.
now it's in London, so you don't really feel like anybody has an advantage.
I'm going to
as
pick
far
the
as that
Vikings
goes.
because I think
just feel like
they're less
Vikings are
hurt.
healthier
Yeah.
and
They're less
you know,
hurt is what it is.
the better
is what
team
I'm
this
gonna
week.
go with, yeah.
So, what about you, Ray? You going to take the Vikings as well, or are you going to?
Yeah,
go
I'm
with
taking the
Saints?
Vikings. Are we all taking the Vikings?
Wait a minute, you're going to take the Vikings? I'll lone wolf the Saints.
Really?
Andy Dalton, the red rifle, yeah, the red pea shooter.
We call them Red Rocket. But,
Yeah, yeah. That's gross.
Red Rocket.
Red Rocket boy. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna because I kind of feel like there's gonna be a quarterback controversy in New Orleans. And I don't know if that and it would make more sense if for that to happen if Andy Dalton started winning immediately.
But you saw Andy Dalton, he was the backup for Dallas for a while, right?
Yeah, no, Andy,
and he started some games, and he looked bad in all those
but
games.
if we're all
didn't he?
okay, here's the thing though, their coach, so they have such a weird situation. You know what I mean? They're in such a in the middle type of mode because they don't have they supposedly have a roster that can compete right now, right? But if that defense is going to play like that, then they don't. So they have a near 30-year-old quarterback that has been washed out, from another franchise, and then they've got a 35-year-old quarterback who's been washed out from 3 franchises. So what would your goal be? You're not looking at Jameis versus Andy Dalton and going, well, I got to ride with the young guy. I got to see we got to grow here. So and Dennis Allen has failed as a coach before, so his goal is just going to be to win games. So if Andy Dalton comes out and he runs the offense more efficiently, and they score points,
and he's just better for Kamara, and Kamara is
and
better
win.
in the offense, and
you know what, dude?
Maybe.
There's a lot of there's realness to the fantasy football noise. It really seems to be. We really seem to be at a point now where fantasy football seems to affect decisions that are made as far as playing time on players and stuff like that.
You really think that's true?
I do. I really do.
Oh, man.
I really do.
I almost hope that's true. You know what I mean? Just because the fantasy football community, that's my home.
And the only reason I say that is because it seems like guys will pop off in fantasy, and then all of a sudden they're just they're more important to their team, and when they pop off in fantasy,
isn't it that
when they
prove themselves that week?
but not all the time. And a perfect example of that is Mac Hollins this last week. Mm-hmm. If you watch that game,
started him by the way.
Yeah, that was so
hope somebody took that advice.
So did 2 of the 3 fantasy footballers. But anyway,
hey, that whole Tua thing, man. We need to circle back. I guess
we should. But let me close this off real quick.
Yes, please do.
We've been rambling. You're right.
I actually just set up a timer. We've been talking about this thing where we're going to try to do these games in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I got it. That's where you were hearing the bell. I was setting it up.
I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear it?
No, I did.
Okay,
was
it's right here. So when I'll do the intro to the next game, and then hit the timer, and then from there, I'll have a minute to speak about the game before,
So
whenever you're ready.
Okay, the last thing I'll say
on game 2
about that is that I think it would be a mistake if the Raiders started trying to force the ball to Mac Hollins based on what he did last week.
No,
because if you watch that game, he just he won a couple of 50-50 balls over a guy who looked completely inept at cornerback.
he's just a guy. And
we'll come back
to
to
get
that
lucky
later.
that week. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll take the Saints. You guys are going to take the Vikings. Let's move on.
All right. So next game up is Browns versus Falcons. With the Browns are a 1.5 point favorite against the Falcons, and this is at Falcons and go.
All right. I'll start off with a fantasy value. I am starting Mariota this week.
Against me.
Against Ken here.
Oh, yeah.
And Mariota, to me, is a streamer. He's averaged 19 points. I think it was 17, 18, and 20 is what he scored.
And this is in 6 point or 4 point?
In our league, whatever
that's 6 point per passing touchdown.
So that's where he's at. I feel like that's probably a pretty decent floor for him. He's got those running yards. He's always going to have 30 to 40 running yards. He can always get a touchdown that way. I feel like he's a safe quarterback. I don't know if he has quite the upside, but I think he's got a safe floor.
Would you start him over Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
I'm got Aaron Rodgers in my DraftKings pick.
I have Aaron Rodgers on my bench, so
London. I mean, London. Dude, I think it's known now how I feel about rookie wide receivers. Mm-hmm. But dude, this guy looks good. I can't deny that. I don't know if I'm Like if I had him in our league, I'd be starting him.
I heard
you know what I mean. But other
I
leagues,
heard somebody else say like the same, basically the same sentiment that I had last week, and that's that I don't know what's going on, but every single wide receiver that gets drafted recently is just going off.
Yeah.
Like they're all just hits, and I can't. I'm not sure what game it happened in, but the announcer also definitely said, except for Jalen Rager. So you know what? It might have been the Lions game. It might have been.
That's hilarious.
While I was watching
Lions.
the Lions Vikings game, because Jalen Rager's a Viking now.
So Brown side, what do you think? What do you like? Well, and sorry, Cordell Patterson is looks like he's going to be out, and what's his name?
Patterson's not going to play. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it looks like Patterson is not
If,
going to play.
if Patterson is not going to play,
it's
then
not
this is
100% yet.
This
but
is the week to try Tyler Algier. I think.
Algier, yeah.
He looks good. He's a big body running back. Like he looks strong. I want to see him get some work and see what happens.
Patterson's out. Nice
I talked
little
about this
sleeper.
last week. That he was my favorite. Beat the waiver wire pickup. Pick him up on Sunday morning. See what happens. Maybe if you have to drop him. But so it might have been too late. So
Yeah. Well, and honestly, he still might be out there. If he's out there on your waiver wire, make sure you're looking.
Yeah, if he's out there, that's a good play. Because the Falcons have been able to run the ball really well. On the
Brown side? Go
yeah,
ahead.
on the Brown side, man, I honestly think that Jacoby Brissett is I would rather stream him than stream Mariota.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Because you say guaranteed floor, and here's the thing. I think that Brissett is a more guaranteed floor because I think he's less likely to turn the ball over. Mariota has done, even though the Falcons won last week, he tried to give the ball away. He tried to give the game away with 5 minutes to go. He fumbled the snap and didn't get it back. And the Seahawks, he was lucky that Geno went down the field and then threw his own interception.
yeah, it's more real world stuff. But.
And the way Brissett's playing, he looks like he's got complete command of the offense. He looks comfortable.
And just to butt in here, and real world, I think you're right. Like real world, he does look better, but fantasy wise, we're looking at 10, 16, and 17. And so,
I know, but I think he's
not there
but
yet.
I also think he's up. I think he's trending.
Trending, yeah, he's trending in the right
I think
direction.
he's playing. I think. I'm not gonna make any wild calls on Jacoby Brissett, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him consistently hitting 18 plus points.
Right.
Because it wouldn't surprise me to see him consistently throwing 2 touchdowns and 1 or less interceptions and 200 plus yards. And then at that point, you're just talking about a third touchdown or 50 extra yards or a scramble or something like that. And
Which he can do.
And yes, which he can do.
So
And then I like Amari Cooper.
So maybe he's a start. So of course
No,
we're starting.
I'm not-
well, maybe he's a
yeah.
stream or something.
Maybe.
like
I
that.
said,
Maybe
I only said that.
desperation.
I said
Just
that.
throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But running backs, of course, we're going for, right? Both running backs.
Start both Browns running backs. Probably if Patterson doesn't play, I'm not willing to start Algier.
30 seconds.
Gotcha.
But I want him on my roster. See what he does. You're starting Drake. You're starting Pitts. I really like David Njoku. I picked him up.
Nice again streamer this week.
To block people from.
But
from picking him up.
I cut you off on Cooper. I think Cooper is actually kind of the story here. What do you think of Cooper so far this year,
He looks like Amari Cooper.
dude? Well, he looks like old school Amari Cooper. He
He was
he's
fine.
looking good.
He was fine in Dallas. He just wasn't getting targets.
All right, next game. Well, I'm going
oh,
Browns.
Let's make our picks now.
Going Browns.
I'm going to take the Falcons at home.
That one's hard. And it's hard because the Falcons have just been playing a little over their heads. They've been playing better than we thought they were. It's hard. I am going to take Atlanta at home.
Uh-oh.
Lone Wolf on the Browns on the road.
And it's the Browns. I don't like that. Okay, so next game we have up is Bills versus the Ravens.
That almost
At
feels
the
like we set
Ravens.
them up.
Ravens are currently plus 3.5. The line is 110.
This is going to
110.
be the game that has the most common plays on DraftKings.
And will you bring me back a beer on your way back? And here we go.
With people playing Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Those could be the most common plays in DFS. That being said, I do I do think there's gonna be a lot of points.
Think so?
Like
Oh, they are.
Josh Allen's gonna be an awesome play DFS again.
Thank you.
And I just want to jump in here, DFS wise. I think you are underselling this game. I think this game is the game on the slate. Like you are either
No, I'm not trying to
over
undersell it.
leveraging this game
No, I'm not.
or avoiding this game.
All I
Like,
was trying
this
to say
is the
was
game
yes,
this week.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm just I
That's what I
wanna
was
stress
trying to
that.
say.
Yeah.
That's what I was. What's going to happen is like you're going to pick players from this game, and you're going to be competing with people who also have those players.
Yes. So know that these players are going to be chalking this game because everybody's taking these players.
Yeah. So I think to me, maybe a sneaky play that not everybody is going to make that I would definitely make is Singletary, Devin Singletary. He
Continue that 11 catch streak.
he took more work, even more work away from Zach Moss last week, and they are going to have to score points. They're gonna have to score points against the Ravens. They're not going to be able. I don't think they're going to be able to stop them. The Bills might get back Jordan Poyer this weekend. He's one of their All-Pro safeties, but they're still missing one, and like they're just kind of beat up. They struggled a little bit down the field against the Dolphins. There were a couple of busted coverages where the Dolphins, ended up with big plays down the field. So, I think obviously you can play if you can fit Andrews into your lineup, you play Andrews.
Yeah.
I mean,
basically,
I would
there's
really hate to
everybody.
have to play against
Yeah.
Mark Andrews in fantasy this weekend. Man, that would suck.
Did we talk about Davis being out? And
So Gabe Davis is going to be out. So
probably we don't know for sure, but
it's
it
leaning.
seems like
it's,
he's gonna be out.
I'm not putting him in my lineups. When I check my lineups tonight, I'm going to make sure he's not in any of them.
So I mean, are you going McKenzie there?
And we have a
or-
question too. Bateman, should he be traded at this point?
Oh yeah,
If you can get
yeah,
value, I just don't think you're going to be able to get much for him.
yeah, he's not going to get you more than 6 targets a game.
And I will say he's going to be better than
And
what
that's
he
high.
has been.
6
but
targets
he's
is a
not
lot.
going to be consistent or great for you. He's going to have boom bust weeks.
I
So
agree.
yeah,
Completely
if you
agree.
can get something for him,
So,
do it. But I don't think you will be able.
I mean,
to.
if you're talking about trading Duvernay, like what? Maybe he's your third wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I'd be targeting somebody like Jerry Jeudy, who hasn't done anything yet, or I would rather have honestly, I would still rather have DJ Moore on my roster than Duvernay. So if I could turn Duvernay into DJ Moore, I would do that. DK Metcalf.
What about trading Duvernay? What's with Bezzy? You just kind of got right in there.
Yep,
That's
went right to it.
that's
What you were talking about.
that's what
Duvernay.
you were talking about. We just got a question. What about Duvernay? And you were in there.
Oh yeah,
You were already talking about it. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
And to go back to the Bills Ravens game, not to be too DFS centric on this one particular game, but if you play DFS at all, like everyone's going to be on this game, and I want you to realize something that maybe not everybody's realizing, and that's the weather's going to be a little rough. It's supposed to rain all day that day. It's supposed to rain steadily through the first half, and light rain the second half. And it's supposed to be between 14 and 15 mile an hour winds basically the entire game. So that's on the verge
That's
of,
big stuff.
of really affecting things.
If
if it
will.
gets any worse than what it's predicted to be, then it's huge.
That will already affect Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Josh Allen it's like I've seen him play in some pretty ridiculous weather. So
Yeah, that's a hopeful pick.
I would still start Josh Allen, but if you were somebody
yeah.
who was going to run Lamar Jackson, you might think twice.
Yeah, and I think, like I say, if I'm playing regular fantasy football, I'm starting basically
Yeah, we're
everybody.
talking about DFS.
But if I'm going DFS, like it might not be a bad play to fade everybody in this game because everyone else is going to be on them and go for who else you think is going to be good this week. And I will say that one of my lineups, that's definitely what I'm doing what I'm doing. So
I'm going to
All
pick
right.
the Bills in this matchup.
Yeah, I need Ravens to do a little bit more. They almost got me sold, but
Yeah, and that secondary has to come together.
They made the Patriots look really good.
so wrapping that game up, I'm going Bills. Ken's going Bills. What are you doing, Brian?
I'm going Bills.
All right,
Ooh, so
all
the
of us
Ravens are gonna
going
win.
Bills. Next up, we got Commanders at the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys -3 over under at 41
That's
and a
way
half points.
too low. How much? 41?
41 and a half.
I'm gonna say under on that one because the Commanders aren't gonna score.
Says the Rams fan. And like I said, that Dallas defense is definitely. I'm sorry, Dallas fans.
was like, what?
The Rams and the Rams.
Whatever.
Did you jump ship?
He's all,
No,
we'd
that-
love to have you.
But that Dallas defense is definitely a lot better this year. We were talking about that earlier.
So-
they are very good, and they could keep Washington down.
A couple things statistics I just can't wait to get out.
All
is
right,
that
throw them out there.
Carson Wentz was sacked 9 times last week.
Oh, I got no faith in the Commanders.
He was sacked 9 times by the Eagles last week, and they still have less sacks than the Cowboys do on the season.
I see.
The Cowboys set a record for quarterback pressures in a game against Daniel Jones with 23. He was pressured on more than 50% of his dropbacks on Monday Night Football.
Gotcha.
And pressure is considered when a quarterback has to move off of his position in under 2 seconds. I think is what it is. When you get to the quarterback in under 2 seconds. So, I want to just call this as a bloodbath. You know, like Carson Wentz is like they might have to pick him up off the field. They're gonna come after him. Like I don't know what Washington could do to what they could figure out this week to make it better, but they haven't protected him already. Like he got sacked by Aiden Hutchinson 3 times in the Detroit game. I'm not.
You don't think they're going to learn? You don't
Micah
think they're gonna be able
Parsons
to
might
get better?
Micah Parsons might break the single game record for sacks, which is 7, by the way. If anybody didn't know that, Derek Thomas holds that with 7.
So Juan C's hoping the Browns go off so he can use them, or Brown goes off so he can use them as a piece. So
We're talking about which
that's what he said. I don't know. Just throwing
Brown?
that out there. Brown.
Who?
Hopefully Brown goes off so I can use him as a piece. Juan C.
Which Brown?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to clarify, man. I'm confused on that
You
one.
might be talking about.
Must be an earlier game.
Yeah, or in a game we haven't gotten to yet. That's possible. There's a,
Noah Brown.
Michael Gallup is back in this game, so that hurts Noah Brown a little bit. Also, I don't think they're going to have to throw the ball that much. When they do, they're going to be successful, but I really he has really good chemistry with Cooper Rush, so it's hard not to play him. But yeah, I kind of feel like if you didn't play Noah Brown already, you missed the boat. I could be wrong, but I've been watching the Cowboys for a long time, and I've been watching Noah Brown for a long time, and if he sticks, it would be surprising.
Okay. So Cowboys. We're talking about the Cowboys and Commanders versus. I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Yeah, and we know where Ken's going, but
He's kind of obligated to. That's the homer pick.
yeah. And I think I'm going to take the Cowboys too. Even with Cooper Rush, I think they're the better team right now.
So you know that
I can see a world. I just want to say I can see a world where this is a divisional game. Everything gets played super tight. Cooper Rush finally shows some weaknesses, and Washington, their passing game takes over, and they.
I kind of feel like
I can see that happening.
that's fair, except for we own
but
the
I won't bet on
NFC
it.
East. The Cowboys own
geez.
the NFC East.
I kind of feel like
See, this is why I want to bet on the Commanders so much, but I just
Do it. Do it. Do it. So did you know that Cooper Rush is the first quarterback to start his career with 3 fourth quarter comebacks?
I love cherry pick stats. They're always funny.
Aren't they great?
But,
But isn't that amazing? That's
that is an amazing.
That's the
stat.
first time that's ever happened in NFL history. We're talking over 100 years now, and he is the first quarterback to start his career with 3 fourth-quarter comebacks.
You know, it is
that
pretty
means they
neat
had to
how
come
you're
back in
gonna
the fourth
like.
quarterback.
There's always firsts
but
every
you
season.
know the thing. So the thing
There's
is,
always what?
first.
here's the
First
thing
time.
about that particular stat is that it's not. It doesn't have near the weight that it had in 1995. Because like leading your team back
For sure.
in the waning moments in 1995 was so much more unlikely than it is today.
Yep.
Because like today, like a three score lead is not safe in the fourth quarter. Like it used to be like my team's up 31-10. They're starting the fourth quarter. Let's go get something to drink. Let's go
Yeah.
get something to eat.
This
you know?
is done.
Yeah, this one's over. And like in 2022 NFL, you
This
could come,
year,
you
just
could-
look at this
yeah.
year. Look how many games
Yeah.
have changed hands in the last 2
Exactly,
minutes.
exactly. You could
By
come,
multiple scores.
Who did
I
the
mean,
Commanders beat this year?
Jaguars.
Oh, okay.
But that was
And then all of a sudden the Jaguars got good,
But
huh?
no, that was it. So that was at home, and the Jaguars like had some missed opportunities. They probably should have won that game.
Okay, so ending picks for that game, we're all picking the Cowboys. And
Cowboys to crush.
next up, we have Seahawks at Lions.
This is my favorite fantasy bonanza game.
Lions are at -3.5, and the over/under is 38 points.
So this game actually has my favorite streaming quarterback of the week too, and that's Geno.
You know, I'm started. I actually, just as a sneak peek, I picked Lockett on my DraftKings too as well.
And okay, that's great. And
Yeah.
I did too. Geno, like I'm stacking Geno and Lockett.
I didn't stack with Geno, but I did pick Lockett.
That's funny. I had Lockett in my lineup to the last minute, and I switched him out for, I think, Deontay Johnson.
Lockett has 11 targets in the last 2 games.
Yeah, no,
11 targets. And
I remember
9
hearing
catches
that
in
stat on the
last 2 games.
podcast and went, "What? That's not true, is it?"
It is. and if you go and you look at and he's one of the guys carrying Slim's ballers right now,
Yeah.
and it's just like it makes me want to pull my hair out. Some of the guys he scores points with.
Dude,
I am doing awful in our fantasy league. Like, it was so terrible. And I was
you're
looking at
starting rough.
my options, and like every one of my receivers were out. Not questionable.
I wanted to offer him a bad trade because he has no receivers.
I was like, what the? So I ended up having to.
So I'll give you
I don't-
DJ Moore for Chris Godwin.
I think I have Godwin starting, and he's still questionable.
very questionable.
But I'm like, I got nobody else. So I'm probably gonna go.
I got players. I'll trade you.
I might have to. Might have to trade you. Not for some shitty players, but
I got good ones. What are you talking about? I got on my bench. I got Damian Pierce, DJ Moore, and
Somebody else you wouldn't want to start.
No, I'm actually
somebody else who's better than just being out.
You wouldn't start Damian Pierce? I'm actually probably going to flex him over AJ Dillon.
He's not a guy that I'm looking to start. He's a guy that if I have to start, I will.
I liked what I saw.
But he's not somebody I'm looking
So
to
we got a question, and it is related to the.
We should pause the timer because we haven't been talking about this game very much at all.
Well, actually, we haven't really. Okay, go ahead.
So we got DK Metcalf or Romeo as a flex.
That's a good one. This week I'd take DK because Romeo is getting. They're going to get the Patriots treatment, and the thing about that is that Aaron Rodgers has complained about the young receivers having mental issues, like they're just like making mental mistakes,
Right.
Like yeah, and the Patriots are the team. Like you don't want to have like mental mistakes against the Patriots because they're going to do things to confuse you as it is. So
are the Patriots?
If he were somebody who was balling like Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, I would just still start him. But with Romeo Doubs and the way he has tracked so far, I'd much rather start DK Metcalf against the Lions.
And I agree with that for slightly different reasons, but I do agree. I think DK is steady. He's, you know what I mean. He is that guy in the offense. He's gonna get those targets. You know what I mean.
Whereas Dobbs could do something stupid in the first quarter, and then Aaron Rodgers just goes cold on him.
Or he's just getting the coverage this week, and so we're not going to go to him.
Well,
this week.
speaking
Like,
of that,
he could
though,
be completely out.
Speaking of that, though, the Lions do now have a traveling lockdown corner, who's had a lot of success. He just shut down Justin Jefferson. He did well against. There's somebody else. It's
right, he did shut
Acuna
down,
is his name, and I can't remember who it was in week 1. He had a good week 1 as well. But anyway, he's expected to be on DK, so that's something to watch out for. But I would still rather ride DK than Dobbs. And that
scares me a little
but to
bit
say
more,
that,
but I have zero confidence in Dobbs.
I don't have zero. I like Dobbs a lot. I like him a lot.
Because of his skill or because
His skill.
of the quarterback that's attached to him?
His skill. He was
Like, I don't think he's getting anywhere near a starting lineup on any other team.
No, he flashed in preseason with bad quarterbacks. So, that's when I first noticed him was in preseason and training camp, and he looks like he's looked better so far than Christian Watson, who's a second round draft pick.
And been hurt.
And the only thing that people think of when they think of Christian Watson so far is him dropping that touchdown against the Vikings in week 1. Whereas, Dobbs had 8 catches on 8 targets and a touchdown last week. So I don't know. Like I said, I would still rather wait and see a little more with Romeo Dobbs, and especially with this matchup.
Yeah.
I think this is too good of a matchup. Like, if you have DK on your roster, like, another way to think about it is, like, if you have DK on your roster, this is the week. Like, this is the week you play him, and then it would be a great week to move off of him if he has a great week. If DK has a great week, and then you could turn him into. I don't know, who could you turn him into?
I don't know who you turn him into. That's
His
the problem.
opponent has Waddle.
Well,
So he thinks he's good with Metcalf.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Waddle now that Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback.
Now that
because
all of them-
because Waddle did nothing on Thursday night after Tua got hurt. Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you guys going? You guys going Seahawks, Lions?
I'm going Lions at home, baby. That's my team this
Yeah.
year. The Lions.
Yeah, I'll take Lions at home.
Oh, another lone dog game for me.
Yeah.
You're going to take this.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. As I was watching the Lions game,
This is one of those controller games.
No, this is one of those. I don't have any faith in Jared Goff when pressured. Just like when the
Games on the line.
games starts to get on the line, he doesn't have that lead, and it's like
And he's missing his two
he
main
starts
weapons.
seeing ghosts and stuff. And
He's got Josh Reynolds.
I seen that a little bit last week, and I was like, okay, yeah, that looks like the Jared Goff I know. The Jared Goff, the reason why the Rams got rid of him, Jared Goff. And then I think Seahawks are kind of trending up, where the Lions are kind of trending down. As far as performance while watching the games, that's what it looks like to me. So that's what I'm going with on that.
Okay.
Next game up, we're hitting the afternoon games. Chargers at Texans.
We don't have morning games still?
Huh?
There should still be morning games, right?
Oh, that's it. That's all the morning games. Now we're moving into
The Bears-Giants is a morning game. Yeah, those are morning games.
Yeah, I think we have them reversed.
Or so are these the afternoon ones? I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay, so
Something like that, yeah.
all right. Anyway, we're moving into the next time window of games.
There you
The
go.
next window of games.
Time.
Window 2.
Chargers at Texans. As of 10 hours ago, the Chargers were a 4.5-point favorite.
The Texans.
No Swift or St. Brown. I think they're both out, aren't they?
Yes,
are.
they're both out.
Oh yeah, they're both
Yeah,
out.
they're both out. So
Yeah, and we are Ken and I are both still taking the Lions despite being full aware of that, and I think that's just because the Lions are playing tough and at
I
home.
like them a lot.
Yeah,
I like
I
them
just-
a lot. I do.
I think it's going to be
I
a tougher
feel
win
like
this week,
they're-
closer than it should be because of that. But
I feel
think
like they're a
gonna pull it
team
out.
that's figuring it out.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of weapons. They've got some swagger on offense. I think that, I don't think that they would sit down Amon St. Brown for the injury that he has if they weren't confident that they could still just put up points. They have a lot of weapons. They have a lot.
Just as a side note, Juan's taking Seahawks too. So I put him in there as an italicized.
That's funny.
Still lone wolf, but I need the support.
That's
Okay,
funny.
so anyway, Chargers at Texans.
Yeah, so the Texans were unable to beat the Bears, and the Bears don't play an NFL offense. So I am not picking them again.
You're not
One of
picking the
Ken's
Texans again?
ex-teams here.
No, in the game,
I wouldn't pick Texans until they won.
you got to be really disappointed by Brandon Cooks and what he's done so far this year. But Damian Pierce looks really good. So
Wait, what's he been doing? Like, does he look really good or does he look okay?
No, he looks really good.
Really? Okay. I want to look that up.
Just I'm not sure what his numbers were. I think it was like 20 for 80 and a touchdown last week. He got a couple of catches.
He got 18 fantasy points last week on DraftKings, which is a large tick up from his 8 and 4. So he's definitely trending in the right direction. Still makes me very nervous, but
the Chargers have really struggled on defense. So they haven't played very well so far. They gave up a 40-plus yard touchdown run to James Robinson, and it took him like 10 minutes to get there. Like after I saw that touchdown run by James Robinson, I felt a lot better having traded him away. I was like, I don't know how he just did that. There's no way that's repeatable.
He's had a few runs like that where I'm just like, how
did he get free?
I don't get it.
Yeah. He's smart though. That is one thing though, is that
he has good vision.
He's got good
vision.
On the Chargers side, Keenan Allen got hurt in practice.
Right, and
so he's
been ruled out
to play.
Yeah. No, he's been ruled out. So
okay.
he's out.
So
Mike
Austin
Williams
Eckler is averaging like less than 3 yards a carry, so that sucks. But going back to last year, the Texans have given up, I think like 25 points a game to running backs for like 9 games or 10 games consecutive. It's crazy. So you have to start Austin Eckler.
And Herbert's still hurt, so he might be wanting to rely a little bit more on the run. I mean, they didn't really do that last week, but seems logical.
I don't know what they're going to do. Like, because Keenan Allen's going to be out again. Like, this could be an ugly game. This could be a really ugly game.
But do you see any way that the Texans pull it out?
No,
I don't either.
I don't see that at all.
Yeah. Especially with the Chargers, like they're 1-2, they have to win. That like they're playing like they're very disappointing right now.
Yeah.
And I think they're ready to come back.
Yeah, I picked the Chargers.
All right. Ooh, 55 seconds ahead of schedule on that one.
We're all on the Chargers.
That's what we get for Houston.
We were talking about the Texans. We can spend that minute somewhere else.
Right.
Titans and Colts. This is a really good game.
Okay, so hold on. Let me give them this. So our timer is going to be a little off, but we're going to move on off of the next game. So yeah, Titans at Colts. Indianapolis is the 3.5 point favorite, and the over under is 43 points on this game as of 12 hours ago.
I like the over on this one. I think it's a sneaky over, but I think it's definitely going to hit the over. I don't think either of the defenses are playing very well right now, especially Tennessee. Tennessee looked awful against Las Vegas last weekend.
I was watching the Titans last week, and I kind of feel like Henry was starting to look a little
looked better.
Like he took a half a step back towards his.
Yeah, he looked a lot better. Now, when I first saw the box score and saw that he had like 5 catches for 58 yards, I was like, oh, wow, they used Derrick Henry. That's awesome. And then I watched the game, and 4 of those catches happened on the first drive. I was like, okay. So I don't know what to make of that.
And it was one long catch, right? It was one long one.
One long catch, and the other 3 were like, under 10 yards. And they were dump offs. And I don't know if it didn't, to be honest with you, it didn't seem like didn't seem like Las Vegas solved that problem. They just kind of weren't able to stop anything else.
You want to talk about a controller game?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, wait,
that was Thursday night, wasn't it? I don't see even.
So wait,
Raiders
does that mean you picked the Colts over the Titans? If you're talking about this,
no. When you mentioned the Raiders, and
and that was why I picked the Titans, was because I just like the Raiders. Just that's what they do. They Raider.
There they are.
So I feel like what it comes down to which running back do you think is going to be better in this game?
Jonathan Taylor.
You think so?
Yeah, because the defense on Tennessee is worse.
But I feel like they just haven't been giving Taylor the ball the way they should be too. I mean, maybe they'll rectify that this week. But
I agree with you. It's just that I think that Indianapolis is a good enough defense to like actually force Tennessee to do something other than hand the ball to Derrick Henry. So, I don't think he's. I mean, you never know. It's because it's Derrick Henry. He could always break a 60-yard run.
I find him very hard to predict.
He is.
Like,
He's so hard.
every
to predict.
time I'm like, oh, he's going to get bottled up this week. Oh, 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Awesome. I'm glad I ruined all my DraftKings lineups. Thanks.
Yeah, he is.
God.
He is. And then then weeks he's supposed to crush,
Yeah.
27 carries for 95 yards.
Yeah.
It's like, thanks for my 9.5 points, dog.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not a bad game for him because he had 95 yards rushing. It's a good game. But yeah. Anyway,
Totally agree.
on the other side, I think Michael Pittman's going to crush this weekend.
What about Burks? Do you like Burks?
I love Traylon Burks. He should have scored against the Raiders.
I think so too.
And he looks like he's starting to get it.
I agree.
He looks
I
faster.
watched him closer last week because I was playing against him, and so actually the last 2 weeks, and so I've really kind of been watching Burks, and he's no AJ Brown, but he is getting a little bit of that role. Like you can see him being more focus of that offense, especially in that
And he's
that
starting to get
passing
confidence,
offense.
is what you can
Absolutely
see.
gaining the confidence. I can see him really increasing and being good at the end of the year.
I've been like, I was super excited to make the deal that I made this week to clear up roster spots because there were guys on my roster that I couldn't drop. That I couldn't just let them go to someone else's roster for free.
Right.
But I really wanted to make room to get Traylon Burks onto my roster.
Yep.
Before he popped off and I was gonna have to pay for him because that's happening. That's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen at some point.
It could
I
happen
agree.
this weekend. It could absolutely happen this weekend, but it's coming. Like the Traylon Burks pop off is coming for sure.
Yeah.
And also Robert Woods looked good. I thought he looked
He's
great.
getting better.
I disagree there. I don't think he looked good. I think
thought
he
he
looked
looked- I thought he looked
serviceable.
quick.
He's not going to be
Like he's not okay. I'm not
A
sure who
fantasy
I'm not sure who you
wide
want him to
receiver.
be, but I
I wouldn't have him on my bench right now. Like I wouldn't have him on my team.
I'm over here having to start him.
Think about this. As Traylon Burks gets better, I think Robert Woods will also get better. I think that will
I can see that.
I think that will open things up for him, and I think he becomes a guy like he used to be, where he's got a 10 to 12 point floor. So it's not like I'm not saying you got to get Robert Woods on your team. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that like he's going to be a guy you plug into your roster and you can expect to get 10 plus points because a certain amount of the offense is going to run through him, and he's going to get enough of the coverage off of him as Traylon Burks takes coverage away
So keep an eye
that
on
he's
him
going to be consistent.
as the year progresses. He might
Yeah,
be
if
somebody
Robert,
you need to grab.
if Robert Woods and or Traylon Burks are on your waiver wires, they shouldn't be. Neither of those guys should be on your waiver wire. Period.
Pick up Burks first. But
Burks first. Burks has a much higher ceiling for sure.
This makes way more sense. So, as we wind down our last 30 seconds on
It
this
sounds
talk,
like we're much more excited about the Titans than we are the Colts. That's what I heard in that 5 minutes.
and
I don't know about
Colts,
you.
Really?
Well, I feel like Colts. It's Pittman and it's Taylor.
Yeah,
and
and that's-
there's
and his
Is there
quarterback,
anybody
Jelani
Jelani Woods caught 2 touchdowns. And he's a project. You know, he's I shouldn't even say project. Isn't he a first round draft pick?
I'm not sure.
He's a high draft pick. We'd have to look into that. Can we look that up?
Hold on one
When this next
second.
one gets started?
So, you guys are picking Titans?
I
am.
am going to pick the Titans.
I'm going to pick the Colts.
He's lone wolf master.
yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's one of these things where, like,
He's determined to catch
I'm-
up. As
I know, I'm freaking
he's like,
scared.
I'm either going to get way behind or
Yeah.
I'm going to catch up this week.
this is my closeout
We'll
week.
call this separation Sunday.
Yeah, it's separation week. It could.
And you know what? Actually, so it's funny because actually I feel that way about this weekend. I do feel that this week, if you look at the, I think I lone wolfed on the Saints, but I don't 100% feel that way. The picks and stuff like that, the way they're lining up, I do feel like this is a separation week. I think teams are going to start
In
to
the
separate
NFL.
themselves.
I agree totally.
Okay, so what did you want me to look up?
Jelani Woods. It starts with a J.
What about him?
His draft capital. Where was he drafted?
And while he's doing that, I just real quick
73 overall.
Okay, third.
Oh, okay.
So third round.
third round. I forget.
So
One thinks that Matt Ryan takes too many sacks.
Yes.
Same guy, different jersey. I think he's the more experienced quarterback, and that's kind of where I'm going with this on the Titans versus Colts.
He
At the
hasn't
Colts,
looked good.
you know, sometimes it gets cold there.
The Raiders made
Something
Tannehill
like
look
that.
really good. I don't know if he's going to look that good again, but I think in the first half Tannehill had 2 incompletions and they were both tip passes.
Right. So was it Tennessee figuring it out, or was it they got to play the Raiders?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I agree. Like,
It's
this will
hard
be a
to
good,
say.
This will be a good measuring stick for him. All right. So next.
Next,
Ooh.
are we going next?
I kind of want to believe they're figuring it out. I kind of want to believe that the team that was the 1 seed last year really just needed their rookie
I think so, too.
to start to pick things up, and
That's where I'm
I
at.
think their offense is going to take off a little bit.
So
Just hope that Derrick Henry doesn't do it this weekend.
I'm hoping he doesn't do it this weekend because I just picked the Colts.
I'm sorry. I just can't stop smiling because I'm looking at this game, which is Chicago versus the Giants.
One of these teams is going to be 3-1 at the end of the weekend.
2-1 teams, believe it or not. How the hell are these 2 teams 2-1?
So the
Schedule-
Giants
schedule
are
guys.
-3 with the over under 39.
Oh my God!
The Giants
even
are
know how to
favored to
pick
win?
this game.
Yes.
I'm
At the Giants, maybe? Why?
going to pick the Bears. Like I'm going to be fast about that too. I'm going to pick the Bears because I honestly
Okay, just-
they're a Pop Warner offense for sure. Like when they're 3 games in and they have twice as many rush
Yep,
attempts.
that's about where we're supposed to be. That's what
Twice
I'm
as many
talking
rush attempts as pass attempts. They have over 100 rush attempts and less than 50 pass attempts through 3 games. It's absurd, but it's working. And the Giants have not been good against the run, and that's what the Bears are going to do. The Bears are just going to pound the run. Khalil Herbert could have 200 yards in this game.
about. So we do have a question.
Yeah,
So let's go ahead and pause the round.
let's do it.
Alex wants to know, Ayuk, CH, or Penny in his flex?
Ayuk. Oof. No.
I was going to say Penny makes.
I'm
you
gonna
good.
Penny. I'm
What,
Penny
what's
this week.
is it a PPR?
Is it a PPR, Alex? Let us know.
Honestly, I think if it's a PPR, I go Ayuk, and if it's standard, I probably go with Penny. God, if it's
I
half
kinda wanna
point, which I'm
lean-
sure it is going to be, that
Full
makes it
PPR.
Okay, full PPR.
So-
I go Ayuk.
I kind of want to lean Penny because he's playing against the Lions. And the Lions have given up something like 8 rushing touchdowns already this year.
Okay. See, Penny is very much to
That-
me a 14 to 15 touch, 50 to 70 yards.
But,
if you get
okay,
really
so-
lucky,
okay.
you play him the week that he gets one of his 5 touchdowns
Hold on.
the year.
Now
that's how I see him.
That's where, okay, in the world of measuring efficiency, like expected efficiency and stuff like that, that makes a lot of sense.
Whoa.
Sorry,
But
I just
coming into the
mixed
year,
this up.
every time Rashad Penny had more than 10 touches, he had been worth something like 18 fantasy points. And now I'm not
It's a bit
saying
of an
like he's
anomaly,
I'm not. Well, it was
anomaly, but-
quite an anomaly because it was like a 6-game stretch that
Yeah.
he did it. It was a long time.
So he has
I-
MT and Amon. Amon Ra injured this week,
Yeah,
so his flex is dependent on those guys.
yeah.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
I think the
Ayuk?
higher, so I'll tell you what, I think the higher upside is Penny, and the higher floor play is Ayuk, because Ayuk has had 8
Ayuk has a
targets.
ceiling though too.
He does. I don't think his ceiling is as high as Penny, because I don't think Penny could score 2 touchdowns and run for over 100 yards.
And let me just throw out
That could happen.
Let me just throw out the argument for Ayuk real quick, and that is that Debo is getting used more and more as a running back right now because their running backs are hurt.
I agree.
And so that kind of makes Ayuk one of the default receivers
No, I agree,
on a
and
lot
he's
of those.
got 8 targets in back-to-back games.
Right, and
So-
now Garoppolo's back. I think
I
that's going to go
just
up.
don't. I
love
just
his-
don't have like. Here's the thing: is that what's the over/under on Garoppolo's touchdowns? 2, right?
Okay,
And you're probably
well,
and,
yeah. The over/under is 1.5.
There you go.
Yeah.
The over/under is 1.5, and
Yeah.
and I'll bet the under.
Yeah,
More times than not.
And I wouldn't wanna bet that,
And so
so,
where is that? And that touchdown is going to go to Debo, and it's going to go to Kittle first. That one touchdown that he's going to throw is going to go to those 2 guys before it goes to Ayuk. Is going to be the expectation, and maybe not Kittle, but I have the image of him throwing the 3-yard slant to Ayuk for the touchdown in my head, and like that could definitely keep happening. It's just that I would rather bet against the Lions defense than bet on Jimmy Garoppolo and Brandon Ayuk together.
I hear you. But does it feel like 10 is a pretty solid number for the amount of targets that Ayuk is going to get?
No.
What would you put the over under on this
7.
target? Really?
Yeah.
So how he's feeling about it is he feels the Seahawks also have a 3-headed backfield now.
One of those guys is hurt.
CEH
Well, that's another thing. That's a big thing is that one of those guys is hurt. Travis Homer is not going to play. So it's entirely possible that Rashad Penny catches a few balls this weekend.
And CEH is playing Tampa, which is rough. So
CEH
I
is
prefer
not some-
Ayuk, but I'm into
CEH is somebody I'm trying super hard to sell right now because he's getting the same amount of touches as Jarrett McKinnon and less snaps.
And I think we're arguing over the other two. We were not.
Not
we had
CEH.
CEH nowhere near the
No.
conversation.
Uh-uh.
Like Cajun lawyer can go away right now. I need to see what he's going to do.
All right, so back to Bears and the Giants.
Whoa, boy!
We have to go back to this game. Oh
We never really we got 15 seconds in, and
Couldn't
it
wait
was
to
like
get back to this.
boom, boom.
There's no, so it's important to know that Sterling Shepard's out for the year with a torn ACL. So Richie James has already been playable. All 3 weeks he's been playable.
I'm Richie James, bitch.
I'm Richie James, which. All right. Yeah, so he's getting targets. Daniel Jones is dumping the ball off a lot. He's somebody you could play. Like I would rather. So I tell you what. I would rather play Richie James than either of the 3 guys that we were just asked about.
And Richie James is in my DFS lineup.
Oh, can't wait to see what that turns into.
So I would rather play Richie James this weekend. Like so, if for who was that? Alex that asked us if you have
Yes.
if you have a droppable slot this weekend and Richie James is available, I would rather run that. But it depends. Like if you're 3-0, don't do anything silly. If you're and if you're expected to win still, or if it's anywhere close, just don't I probably just wouldn't do anything. I'd just pick one of the guys.
Agreed.
But yeah, if you need a win, if you're 0-3 and you need a win, I would rather start Richie James than any of those 3 guys that we were just asked about.
And to me, Richie James, I've got him in my cash lineup because he's guaranteed a certain amount of targets. I think
he can score too, though,
and he's very low cost.
If he scores, and if he scores, he's just through the roof. For
absolutely,
you.
yeah. No, he's a genius play then.
And in redraft, he's a really really good floor play. I think his lowest point total was against Dallas. Who's a really good defense, shutting people down, and I think he scored 9 points. And the other two weeks he's over 10. So and he's about to get more work.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
I could definitely see us fighting over Richie James on the waiver wire next week.
Yeah, I see it as a possibility. Chicago side,
Khalil Herbert. That's it.
I was going to say, what's his
That-
name?
that
I
is-
lost
Montgomery's
Montgomery.
out.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, guy.
So many
it's-
O's.
Cole,
there
hey,
anybody?
Cole Kmet got his first catch last week.
And screw you. That's funny. He like the preseason hype on that guy. Like I
know I'm so mad
he's
about
getting
it.
the 25% of the target share.
This
and
is
everything
why
else.
from now on we're creating our own hype. We're not like we're not riding anybody
I
else's hype.
fell for that hype.
We're hyping people. We're gonna next summer, we're gonna start taking we need to get we'll start an OnlyFans or something like that to produce money so we can go to training camp next summer.
And I will say I took I gambled on Kmet this year in the 12th round in a couple of drafts. You know what I mean? So I didn't put much into him, so I'm not super sad that he didn't work out. But he was my late round. Oh yeah, this tight end's gonna do something.
Yeah, me too. He was definitely the
Nope.
Oh dang it! I forgot to draft a tight end. And there went Ertz or there went Goddard. I'll wait for Kmet.
Yep. I can just pick him up later.
Yeah, and if anybody who
get
did
goosed.
that, yeah. So to the people who are listening that also may have did that, David Njoku
Yes.
is available in a lot of leagues, and he should not be anymore because in my opinion, he has established himself as the number 2 target for Jacoby Brissett. I don't think Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to get another game with more than 6 targets. I just don't see that happening. Whereas Njoku looked good.
Yeah. No, and Njoku has looked
a
Much
quarterback like Brissett, that's what he's looking for. He's gonna drop back, look for Amari, and then where's David?
Now, yeah, and now keep in mind he's going to be worthless in Week 12 when Watson comes back. But shoot, that's a
I don't
long
even think that's
ways
true.
away.
Watson was really good. Like Watson,
his tight end?
Yeah, remember if you remember?
No, I don't remember.
If you remember, that's because in Houston they didn't have one good one. They had two, and it was so hard to figure out which tight end you wanted to start. But one of them would score every week, and it was Jordan Akins was one of them, and I can't remember the other one. But he had two tight ends, and you just could never figure out which one was going to score, but one of them was going to score
I vaguely remember Akins being like a streamer. So
all the time. Like
Yeah.
I just remember a headache of like which one to start because
because you can't really start either one,
But you needed to,
There's
'cause
going to be
one-
production
yes,
if you could start
yeah.
them both or whatever. Yeah.
you'd be banging your head over not having started one. But
So.
anyway, so I don't agree with that assessment, and especially like Njoku looks like a monster. Like why wouldn't you want to throw him the ball?
My trepidation about it in Njoku is he has been this high capital tight end for a long time.
Oh, so we're done with Bears Giants now.
Yes. So you guys make your picks.
I'll take the Bears.
I'm going to take the Giants.
Oh, I'm taking the Bears too. They've been
Dang
treating.
it! I still don't have a lone.
They've been-
I know I do.
Yeah,
I
you
have
do.
the Saints. I
You've
have the
got the Saints.
That's right. I got it first. That was a good one.
Let me see here.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, it's a tight one.
So next up
I
we
think
have
that's a tight one too.
we
the
have
Giants.
This game is fun. This is the game I'm most excited to watch this weekend.
what game is that, Ken?
This is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles.
What is the point favorite at this game?
I imagine the Eagles are probably favored in the neighborhood of 4 points.
So we have a 6.5 point favorite.
No way!
much.
I didn't want to go there because I didn't think, like, based on what the.
I also took a 7, yeah.
Oh, dude. The Jaguars going to win.
And then we have a overs under.
Either spread or win.
No, I can't remember exactly what the statistic was, but the Jaguars just set an NFL record the last 2 weeks with because they were underdogs the last 2 weeks by 6+ points and won the game by 20.
Right. Okay. Right on.
So do you want to hear what
And
the
this
over
last
under?
game, I don't know if Trevor Lawrence looks awesome.
Over under's got to be about 47.
Okay, so unless
yeah,
I'm reading
I
this
agree.
wrong, okay, this was as of 11 hours ago.
I'll say 48.
Unless I'm reading this wrong. Yeah, and I am reading this wrong. No, wait, no, hold on. No, over under minus 110. That's not right,
no,
huh?
that's all right.
That's the other one.
Yeah, that's the money line.
45 and a half.
Okay.
45 and a half. That's right.
Okay.
I'll take. Ooh, that's interesting.
So Juan thinks that Trevor Lawrence is going to score over 3 touchdowns.
He's
against the
also
Eagles.
like banking on Trevor Lawrence because he just dropped Jameis Winston.
That sounds like a whole lot of
Yeah.
hope right there.
Yeah, you keep putting those positive vibes out there for yourself. No, but honestly, I like Trevor Lawrence. He looks
I do
awesome.
too.
He looks,
I've got him sitting on one of my benches.
He was available in my dynasty league for like a couple of weeks, and I just didn't make the room to pick him up, and I didn't
Yep.
think I was actually going to ever start him because I didn't think I was going to trade Josh Allen, and I really wish I had picked him up because he looks fantastic.
yeah,
like he does.
Yeah, he looks like he's really turned things around.
And also, what's going on with that guy's
Coaches
neck?
matter.
That's not what's up with what that? That's not a human neck. It's like a tree trunk. It's like it shouldn't like for a guy who's like fit and thin, it shouldn't be that big.
I'm gonna have to pay attention to that.
You should. I just Matt Millened you there. It's so funny. I'm watching the.
That's a guy with a thick neck.
I'm watching the Saints and Panthers game, and they threw up a little graphic for Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. I think it was something like that, and it was just like because they both they're the only players in history or something like that to have to average a certain number of rushing yards and receiving yards per game, and they come back from the graphic and they're talking about it, and the main play-by-play guy is talking about it, and then he goes to Matt and he goes, the main thing I noticed is look how big their arms are.
Oh, geez.
And I laughed out loud so hard because it's just like that's Matt Millen. he's such a funny dude.
So we have, I think, a new, unless one of you guys know this guy, Josh Canby.
What's up, Josh?
Do you guys agree with Herbert at flex since Amon Ra is out?
Oh, Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert this weekend is an RB1.
And his other
so
option
if you-
is
like-
Jeff Wilson.
No. Herbert for days over Wilson this weekend. Yeah, Wilson has to play against the Rams defense.
I hear ya.
I don't have a lot of confidence that the 49ers are going to score more than 14 points.
Rams defense has been hard carrying this team right now.
And the 49ers offense has been hard, letting them down.
Yeah,
this year.
I'm looking at it. I think I'd lean towards Herbert, but I have it much closer than Ken does. To me, that's a very hard pick you're deciding between there.
To me,
But,
Herbert's a smash play. Like I can't. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm leaving Herbert on my bench anywhere that I
Well,
have.
here's a decision I've been making DFS and a couple other places. Would you go Herbert or Jamal Williams this week?
Herbert's 5,700 versus Jamal Williams is 6,000. Right?
It's 61, I think.
I would start Herbert.
Not like I say at the price wise, to me that's about the same. I mean,
I have more
maybe-
confidence that Herbert's going to get work. I'm really worried that Craig Reynolds is going to come in and have more carries.
Really?
Yes,
No.
I am.
More
I am.
carries?
Yes, I am.
Then the heart of the team,
I
then
am.
the
They
team
like-
captain, and the,
That might be Craig. Did you watch Hard Knocks? Because the heart of
I did.
the heart of the team might be Craig Reynolds.
the
Ooh,
reporters
30
have just had it
seconds.
all wrong. I don't know.
The Craig Reynolds is the guy that they talked about. Remember?
No, I
we
do,
can't
but-
cut him because of what it'll do to the team. They didn't want to cut him because
What a weird
of,
team! Like all the running backs are just the heart and soul of the
I
team.
know, yeah, I know, right? But that's a real concern for me. That I know Jamal Williams seems like a smash play this weekend, but I'm really concerned that he's just gonna do exactly what he always does.
And I've been
and
having
that they're going to give Swift's work entirely to
See, I don't have that concern,
Craig Reynolds.
but I Jamal and who were we talking about? Herbert, like between those two, like I've really been having trouble. Like I haven't been able to decide. Now I've been slowly coming down on Jamal's side, but
Interesting
it's
little
tough.
tidbit also is that the same manager in our team has both Jamal Williams and Khalil Herbert on their roster before this weekend.
Nice. Who's he starting right now? Do you know? Both.
She,
Oh, shit.
is, I have no idea how she ended up with both of those running backs on her roster, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked.
So picks on this game, guys.
I got to take the Eagles. They're
I'm
just
going to
too
take
good,
the
too hot.
Jaguars because Vegas disrespected them again.
We're not doing money line, man. Or we're not doing points. I mean,
I know, and neither are the Jaguars.
All right.
They're not looking for receipts; they're looking for results, bro.
Yeah, Eagles are looking
no,
good.
Okay, before we start this next one up, we
So
have a
hold on.
question.
Can we pause for a second? Can we
I did
Can I
pause.
take a timeout? Take
Yes,
a
we
timeout?
did.
What do you got?
We got a question.
Because what he? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so well, it looks like we got a couple ones. Okay,
Let's
first,
do this.
we got a question from someone named Marcos.
What's up, Marcos?
Half PPR.
What's up?
Jamal Williams, and this one's coming from Facebook, our first Facebook question.
Okay.
Kamara or Pierce, start one. Also, Dallas or Chargers defense.
Ooh, Dallas defense and Kamara.
Kamara by far.
I wouldn't. I don't want to say that. Don't say that. That's not fair.
No, I'm saying that.
No, because Pierce is going to get 20 plus carries.
And like I said, we already talked about how Kamara's going to look a little bit better with Dalton throwing to him. He's going to get more receptions. Kamara's going to be good.
I think
I
because
have way more confidence.
It's because of the matchup. It's like if the Texans were in the same matchup that they were in last week, and like I said, I banged that really hard. Like start both running backs in this game, and if you started, if you started David Montgomery, you're really sad last week, but Dameon Pierce went off last week, and I think I don't think that's the ceiling. I don't think that's the ceiling for even his workload.
Oh man! So your confidence in Pierce is way higher than mine. But anyway, we both say
Dameon
Kamara. And
Pierce.
what were the defensive choices?
It was Los Angeles Chargers or the Cowboys, and the Chargers are on the road.
on the road versus
And
the
also,
Texans,
like
though.
they just got creamed at home by the Jaguars. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of confidence
To
in the
me, the
Chargers.
defense is a much harder choice there. I think they're both very close.
It's
there.
more random. It's
well,
much more random.
Yeah, But I mean, I think the Chargers are the better team going against the Texans. But I think the Cowboys, their strength is their defense. They're at home.
The Cowboys are.
I'm
going to
go ahead and
defense,
take the
period.
Cowboys, and you very well could be right there. So I'm going to take the Cowboys there, but that's a close one to me. Do we have another question?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because to me the closer one is the running back decision.
Seeing that one's just far
And
away.
I think the defense one is farther away. Joey Bosa is not going to play this weekend. Joey Bosa is not going to play this weekend for the Chargers.
Good point.
That upgrades Dameon Pierce and downgrades the Chargers defense.
Right, and I agree with that. It's more the matchup, just going up against the Texans that you're just like, and the Chargers just kind of have to win this week. I feel like this one's going to be a blowout.
They're still the Chargers. They're still the Chargers.
Yeah,
And their fans,
I take the Cowboys.
their diehard fans will tell you, this is what we do. We screw it up.
Herbert is changing the dynamic, man.
I like Justin Herbert, I do. But I liked Phillip Rivers, and he didn't get it done either.
Oh, well, I never liked him.
I did.
Just the way he threw the ball.
That was always the shot put. The shot put was always
just
so ugly.
ugly.
I just don't understand how it went where it went based on how he threw the ball, because it always looked like he was like, and then the ball just came from over here somehow.
Exactly. So he throws the ball, and you're like, "Oh, that's a pick." And then it goes to the other camera, and you're like, "What? It dropped right in his hands? What the hell?
Ow, it looked horrible.
What is going on?"
Yeah. Yes, and I remember noticing that in college and being like, "This guy is like, what is
Awful,
this?"
yeah.
We did have just like a genuine comment about our schedule, so I'll just clear that up for everybody.
Oh, please.
We typically aim for Friday around 7, and then if our schedules conflict, then we default to Saturday. So that's how that happens, and so that's where the confusion was when you're looking for us.
Yeah, sorry. This is 4 weeks and 2 and 2. 2 weeks on Friday and 2 weeks on Saturday.
yeah,
So,
sure.
Yeah, we're all fathers.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We've got kids, so we're definitely trying to make things work. So bear with us, please.
And then we will get
But
better.
hey, we're also, if you're looking for us, you can find us on Instagram and on Twitter. Like, I'm Mr. Goodbet on Twitter and Ken Against the Clock on Instagram. So like, anybody who's listening right now, if you have questions, you're always free to hit me up.
And then we're going to get better at.
I
updating
love
our-
talking, and I don't even mean to say that like I'm some sort of fantasy expert. I just like talking about fantasy football.
There you go.
So if you
I
ever
think
wanna
that's
hit me
all of
up-
us.
Yeah, if you ever want to hit me up and talk about fantasy football, I'll talk about it with anybody.
And we are on Facebook now, our Facebook page, Fantasy Football Theories, and we will do better at updating everybody on when we're going to go live.
Yeah, just having content in general. I've been meaning to do that. On my personal pages, I've been a lot better about like having things every day. So if somebody's following me, they have something to look at for today. But yeah, that's all stuff that we're working on constantly. We are growing, and we appreciate everybody who's listening right now very, very much.
Absolutely.
Um,
and
so
appreciate those questions. Keep them
Yeah,
coming.
was there another one? Did we miss one?
We have one. The team he's going up against has Eckler and Miles Sanders. Should he be worried?
Oh man, Miles Sanders is such a wild card. I'd say yes, you should be worried, but you shouldn't. It's not like you're worried when your opponent has Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
It's like you're annoyingly worried because you're like, I know this guy could score 20 points.
Something could happen.
but he shouldn't.
But-
He should only score 8.
But honestly, like right now, this week, if those were the two running backs going against me and it's a 2 running back league, I'm just looking
And you
at
said
going,
Eckler, right?
Yeah.
Eckler is the
I
one
like-
I'd be worried about.
For sure. But even then, Eckler just hasn't been doing it. You said 3 yards of carry, everything else. I'm looking at those 2 running backs. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of cool. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so if-
I'm not as scared as I could be. That's for sure.
So what I'd say is, in full PPR, if my opponent is starting those 2 running backs this weekend, I'm expecting him to get somewhere in the range of 25 to 30 points. That's what I'm expecting.
Which is a little below average.
So if he
If you have 2 good running backs, you're expecting 40 points.
Oh yes. That's what I'm saying is I'm not expecting him to like blow the doors off with Miles Sanders. Like Eckler could easily score 25 to 30 points this weekend, but I don't expect a ton out of Miles Sanders. But I never really do.
So-
they've got too many guys that can score touchdowns over there.
So overall, I'd feel pretty confident.
Yeah.
So he needs both James Conner and James Robinson to go off.
Shoot. James Robinson's more of a safe bet, I think, than
But he has a
than
tough
Connor.
match. Yeah, he has a tough match.
They both do this weekend. They both do.
Isn't Connor like nursing an injury or something right now?
He is, but he's always nursing injury. So
True,
but I'll tell you what, they did not run the ball very much last weekend against the Rams,
Yeah.
and that could just be because they're playing against the Rams, and that appears to be the. So that's an interesting thing that takes me back to the Brandon Ayuk question real quick, is that teams are not running against the Rams right now. They have decided to just go short intermediate passes, and it wasn't just Greg Dortch and Marquise Brown from last week. It was who did they play in week 2? The Falcons. They gave up points to Drake London and Zacchaeus as well.
Okay.
So the Rams are giving up points to wide receivers. So they're more likely than they are giving them up to running backs.
Something to keep in mind.
So we're ready to move on to the game.
Game.
I believe so.
So we have Jets versus the Steelers. Jets +3.
The MILF banger is
41
back.
and a half is the
Steelers in a blowout.
The MILF, dude. I mean, I don't know. Zach's going to come through and bang all their moms. they're all going to be.
Oh my goodness. Let's just say Zach Wilson is the reason why I'm starting the Steelers defense in a couple of leagues this week. Steelers defense without Mr. Watt is not quite what it should be.
Not good at all.
I would not say that. I guarantee 2 turnovers this week, and we'll see how many sacks, and if we can get a pick 6 or something. But like, I expect big things this weekend.
Me too. But from Zach Wilson.
Really? Why do you have confidence in Zach?
Because he's my dynasty quarterback.
Because you have hope. Okay. Because you hope. All right, great. Good analysis there, sir.
No wonder you've been all hyped on the Jets all season long.
No, I just picked Zach up after I made that trade. But no, I like the Jets' weapons.
Okay, Josh, we have not talked about Tua. He is about.
We'll get there.
Shoot.
We'll talk about Tua.
We'll talk about Tua after all the picks are done, because that was a Thursday night game.
Yeah, and that's a discussion that's going to take longer than 5 minutes when we talk about it for sure. Because it'll just take. We'll get way too sidetracked on tangents and stuff like that because there's so many different things to talk about. Because for instance, the guy who checked Tua out on Sunday got fired today.
Okay. Let's save this stuff.
right.
So we're talking Jets, Steelers, fantasy prospect, guys.
Fantasy wise, Steelers.
None of them.
You're starting
Najee. You have to start Najee. You can't help him. Freiermuth probably.
The move.
Deontay.
And Deontay. Like, that's who you're starting. That's just, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe they'll blow up, but they're probably just going to be like a steady force in your lineup.
Freiermuth hasn't scored yet, has he? He's due.
Okay, yeah, and he's been getting
He's
more
good.
and more attention.
He's been good.
Like, he's been around.
He's been the
yeah.
number 2 target. I'm pretty sure he's second on the team in targets.
He could be, yeah, because he had a couple of.
He's had 7+ targets in all 3
Production-wise, I
games. I'm
think
pretty
he is,
sure.
for sure.
Someone have to check me on that, but I'm pretty sure he has 7+ targets in all 3 games.
Not the last one, but
Freiermuth.
Not the last game. I think he was down to 4, but the first 2, you're right. So anyway, Jets side, Conklin. I would not. Here's a hot take.
Gronklin?
Yeah, drop him.
Tyler
no,
Gronklin?
no. But Conklin, I would stay away from this week.
He's the number
Yes.
4 tight end on the season. So
With
far,
who
dude.
is his quarterback? With Flacco as his quarterback.
He
Now
just
he's
got
Zach
he
Wilson.
just got an upgrade.
Okay, well, whatever. But Zach Wilson does not throw to the tight end. You know what I mean? So
He
like
will
they've got
with
different
Tyler
styles.
Conklin.
Like Conklin is not. What he's been doing the first 3 weeks was great, but it was because of Flacco. I
That's
see
possible.
him the rest of the year, or as Zach Wilson is the quarterback, I see him as a bit of a downgrade.
So you
and if
also
Flacco
downgrading
comes
the
back
rest of
in,
the-
he'll upgrade.
So you're downgrading all the Jets' weapons?
No, I am upgrading Elijah Moore. I think
Okay.
Elijah Moore is going to be much better. I think he disappeared during the first 3
But
weeks.
he was
which
better.
Really surprised
But
me.
he was better with Mike White last year than he was with Zach Wilson.
Okay, fair enough. that dangerous quarterback, Mike White. But
Dangerous Mike White. That's his name.
like, I actually would give the wide receiving core a slight uptick because he's going to sling it downfield and try. But as far as the dump off passes and the tight end passes, I think those are going to be at a much smaller percentage.
So what I want to talk about for I think the most important thing to talk about in this game is Breece Hall.
Okay.
He's trending in the direction that he is. He's trending towards an RB1. He's trending towards getting the work of an RB1.
Which I will say is surprising because
I'm surprised. I'm still surprised. I'm still surprised because Michael Carter looks good. He looks good.
You told me look out for Michael Carter.
Still looks good.
He looks good. And so week 2 and week 3, I'm looking at Michael Carter going, wow, this guy looks really good. But Breece Hall just keeps up and he just keeps getting more and more touches.
Because he's awesome.
There you go. Well, obviously they think so. So
yeah. So that's the thing I'm watching with the Jets right now. Like I do expect Zach Wilson to be better. I like him. I think he's going to be good. And I just can't get that 50+ yard touchdown run out of my head from last year. You know which one I'm talking about?
Vaguely,
it was such an impressive play, and I didn't even know that was part of his skill set. I know he's an excellent passer, and it's just a matter. Like when I watched him last year, I think my critique on him was that he looked rookie slow. Like,
okay.
But he looks like he's got the skills. Like he's got. He looks like he's got good pocket awareness. He doesn't look like he gets flustered. He doesn't look like he doesn't look like Daniel Jones. He doesn't look like Baker Mayfield. He just
ultimate compliment.
What happens is that he seems to. What I saw last year was that he was making a decision a fraction of a second too slow, and guys were getting to his receiver as the ball was getting there or before.
All right. That makes sense.
So
picks.
I'm still gonna take the Steelers.
Me too.
All right.
But I like for anybody who's been listening to us for a while, like you should know by now that I really like the Jets. I
thought you were gonna lone wolf.
And I like the Jets and the Lions are the teams that I really really like to watch. Like outside of my own team, I'm really fanboying over those two teams right now because I like what they're doing.
All right. Okay, moving on to the next game, we've got Cardinals on the road facing the Panthers. This is one we actually talked about a little bit earlier.
Kyler Murray
so
versus
what do you
Baker
think?
Mayfield.
Right?
What do you think,
Ooh,
Brian?
boy.
What is the odd or the point?
Oh, what do I think is the point spread here? I would say Cardinals are favored by 1.5.
Oh, pretty close. Panthers -1.
Oh, okay.
Panthers.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And the over-under is
Okay.
43.5.
That's surprising.
Yeah, like I knew it was close to a pick 'em, but I'm surprised that they're leaning towards the Panthers rather than the Cardinals. But yeah,
The Cardinals' offense looks inept still. They just
their defense does too. That's the problem.
They look. I
like
don't.
the offense when
I want to pick the Panthers in this game because, like I said, just based on the second half of the Saints game, I do think the Panthers are starting to get a rhythm.
Thank you,
I think they're starting to figure it out. I think that they're going to have some people will tell you that momentum isn't a thing. I think it is a thing. I think that this could be one of those games where they start to this could be the game where they start to get it right because the Cardinals defense is not good. They have not been able to pressure the quarterback. So this could be the game where you finally get to see DJ Moore, 8 catches and a touchdown.
So we got a question. Do we start or sit who? We got a question. Do you guys do start sit? Oh, do we do a start sit? If you ask us specifically, but we kind of give you guys what are just our thoughts on.
Yeah, we totally encourage questions. If you have any start or sit questions,
we do
give them to us.
we do try and come up with hypotheticals. Would you start over this player?
Yeah,
but a lot of time. But to be honest, a lot of times that's going to be based on stuff that we know about our own league.
Right.
Because for those who don't know, we all play in a league together. We play in a 12-man full PPR league, 6 point per passing touchdown.
That I will win this year.
I'm not winning.
I don't know how he's going to win it this year, but I guess stranger things have happened.
Do we have a bet on your team versus my team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like,
And
we need to.
and you'll
All
feel
right.
much worse about that after this weekend. You're going to need your running backs to go off. If your running backs don't go off, you're getting crushed. Period.
Well, we got to put a Bowmore on this week, right?
Uh-huh.
So here's our question.
I wanted to ask
Come
you
on.
while we were.
Yeah, no, we got to do a Bowmore.
So here's our question.
I don't know. I don't want. Why does everything got to be a Bowmore?
Because he wants to
Because
get you on a
it's
Bowmore.
and me playing heads up, bro. Come on, that's worth a Bowmore.
I like the going bet that I have with Chris.
Which is?
Steak.
Oh,
Ooh.
like barbecue, like a home cooked steak or what?
Oh, well, that's pretty intimate. But I mean, it doesn't.
It wasn't just gonna be you and me, bro. I got a family.
Well, no. that makes it a little weird, kind of. So
We
yeah.
all have steak, brother. Come on now.
Anyway, yeah, that's the
We're
winner.
gonna get to
the
your
winner,
question here in a
the
second.
loser buys the winner steak. When Chris and I play each other every year,
Okay.
and I'm 0-4 against him. I'm pretty sure I might have won the last one last year. I might have broke even last year, but I know he won at least the first 3 times.
All right.
Okay,
but-
so question.
What's up?
So follow up from Apescapade about the start and sit. He's got 3 wide receivers and 1 flex. Waddle already started him. AJ Brown, M Brown, DK Metcalf, and Olave, and he's got Rashad Penny on the bench.
Olave and Marquise Brown.
And sit DK, right? Sit
Yeah,
DK and sit Penny.
I would. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Yeah. I see it the same way. Yeah.
And I'm playing against Marquise Brown this weekend, so it feels bad to say, but
Yeah. And I've been high on him all year. You guys
yeah,
know
he's
that.
been. He jerks off to him every night.
Finally paid off last week.
Finally paid off last.
Whatever God
Yeah.
responds to that, whatever God responds to that sacrifice, it paid off. So continuing our discussion on Cardinals Panthers fantasy picks.
Yeah. When picking these games, a lot of times I like to pick against the team that I just don't like the momentum of,
Right.
and I just don't like what the Cardinals are doing. I don't like. The Panthers have Christian McCaffrey. They have weapons. They have pieces on defense that are fun to watch. I mean, I'm a JJ Watt fan, so
Yeah. I see this as a sneaky offensive game. I think this is going to hit the over. I think that both defenses are going to be a little inept. I think it's going to be a fairly high-scoring game. I think you can start a lot of fantasy prospects here. And
Rondale Moore is supposed to come back this weekend.
So we got a YouTube
Are
question.
you
I
off of
missed.
Dortch now?
yes, absolutely off of Dortch. And
Oh.
like I say, I started him earlier.
Yeah. So
a
anybody
couple weeks ago.
anybody listening who has Greg Dortch and might have still been riding him, Rondale Moore is supposed to be back this weekend. So handle with caution.
Important.
So there's the YouTube question I missed. I'm sorry, Juan, for missing it. He had asked Dortch or McKenzie, and you guys are here.
Yeah,
We're talking
McKenzie.
about.
Yeah, McKenzie's on the upswing.
Yeah.
Dortch is on the down.
Yeah,
so-
and Gabe Davis might not play.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no, I'd really like McKenzie there.
Yeah, Greg Dortch was always just a rental, I think.
Yep. He was just a guy that was filling in a spot while he could. And,
There's 2 receivers. They
now
have 2
his spot's
receivers
taken.
that are coming back with Rondale Moore and then later DeAndre Hopkins. So he was always just a burn him.
Don't forget to start Baker Mayfield this weekend.
Yeah, definitely start Baker Mayfield.
I
every
actually
weekend.
think he's a streamer this week.
I don't.
No?
No.
Okay. Low end streamer. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you're desperate, if you're
Well,
just like,
man,
no,
he might be a
man, like-
low end streamer in a 2 quarterback league.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want to be in that league.
See, now you don't give him a bump up because of the Arizona D. Like, the Arizona D has been bad.
The Arizona D
They're
just shut
on
down
the
Cooper
road.
Kupp. They just shut down
They're
Cooper
traveling
Kupp.
across the
If
country.
Cooper Kupp hadn't had a 20-yard touchdown run, he would have been like managers would have been mad. If Cooper Kupp hadn't had a 20-yard touchdown run, he would have been on Monday Punday.
I got you.
All right. So who you guys picking?
I am picking the Cardinals. I don't like it.
I'm going to go ahead and pick the home team. I'm going with the Panthers.
I'm going with Panthers too.
I think it's going to be a bit of a high-scoring
I get
game.
to lone wolf on Kyler Murray. That feels excellent because now I get to watch him play
Kyler Murray sucks.
and be like, "Yeah, go Kyler, go Kyler, go." Because normally I'm like, "Hit him, hit him!" Like I just want to see somebody hit him.
Have you seen that whole
There's gonna be
Tyler
fantasy
looks
points
like a? Have you seen the whole Tyler looks like a toddler running from
Yes,
meme?
too
That's
funny.
pretty
Like a toddler who stole his parents' phone.
Yeah.
That because it was, and someone else was like, he looks like he is using the full force of every inch of his body when he runs. Like he looks like he's trying so much harder than everybody else.
He does.
So next up is Patriots versus the Packers.
I think this is the best game of the weekend. I think this is going to be the most entertaining game of the weekend. If Mac Jones plays.
That's a long shot. I thought Mac Jones was out.
I hadn't heard anything about him being ruled out, but I hadn't listened to anything today.
I heard that Hoyer was the probable starter. So
yeah, but I mean, haven't you been listening to all the fun with Dr. Belichick this week?
No.
And his expert pediatrics or orthopedics.
Oh yes, I'm sure it's great.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
No, Mac Jones is out.
Okay. Yeah. Then never mind.
Throw that analysis.
Brian Hoyer's like 1-8 in his
life. I'm saying this game is going to be great with Hoyer versus Rodgers. No. Rodgers at home.
This is a game that
two boring offenses, both defenses team. This is a boring ass low game.
Since Brian Hoyer is going to start, I think the Packers are going to have extra possessions. And I think Aaron Rodgers is actually a really good start.
I think he's I don't know. I wouldn't be actively trying to start Rodgers right now until he gets his weapons figured out. That he is going to be a mediocre quarterback this year, fantasy wise.
Name the player. I don't think so. Name the players. I think it's just a slow start.
Disagree.
Name the players, the quarterbacks you'd rather start over him.
I have to get a list, but I'm going to put him in around 16.
People that you might think are on the waiver wire, that streamers that you would start over Aaron Rodgers this weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd have to look. I'm starting Mariota, and I never.
But you don't have Rodgers.
I would not have looked at Rodgers, even if he was on the waiver wire. I don't know if he was or not.
No, he's on my roster.
Yeah, I wouldn't have looked at him.
He's going to sit there until somebody needs him.
I'd much rather start Mariota.
Somebody's going to need him.
Want to bet against that?
Here's my thoughts on the Packers.
Well, how do we put that into a bet? Because I'm going to turn Rodgers into a player at some point.
When he picks his momentum up, he's going to pick up his momentum at some point.
He's going to laugh when I do, and it might be him that does it because you got no quarterback.
And I will never take Rodgers. That is not somebody I'm targeting this year in any way, shape, or form.
We'll see in 4 weeks when Rodgers has 3 consecutive games of 30-point plus.
When he's like, oh, shoot, I better start winning or I'm going to miss the playoffs. So I feel like...
He does it every year. What do you mean?
Yeah, he does.
Dude, he has no weapons this year.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He does this all the time. Betting against... his numbers without Devontae Adams are actually insane. They're on a slow start this year, but he's gonna pick it up
because he has no weapons.
Okay, so we got a question coming in from YouTube.
It's just
betting
against Rodgers is silly.
From CCAC Sports. I'm not sure if he's a first time.
Real quick, 5 points, 17.
I understand that, but if you look at his finishes, Aaron Rodgers has something like 13 consecutive top 5 finishes as a fantasy quarterback.
Not this year. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so question from CCAC Sports. I'm not sure if he's a return or not. He's coming in from YouTube. He's playing in a half PPR. Ramondre versus Green Bay or Jacob or GB, not Green Bay. I saw GB and I read you.
Ramondre versus Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
Or
Jacobs versus Denver. Also Olave or Lazard as a flex.
Olave over Lazard for sure. Olave
way over Lazard.
Yeah, Olave at this point is a number 2.
Yes, agreed.
I'm starting him that way in my Dynasty League for sure.
The interesting question is Stevenson versus Jacobs.
Yes, I agree. And
you got to take Jacobs just because Stevenson is still splitting.
Is Jacobs at home? Yeah, Jacobs is.
Jacobs is at home versus Denver.
And I think the Patriots are going to be chasing points against the Packers. I just like
Denver has a good defense, so I can see why you can see it's a question. But Ramondre has not taken enough of that backfield to prove that he's startable no matter what. To me, he's a spot start. He's a situational start. He's not somebody you're going to be wanting to start against a good defense on the road.
I keep trying to get excited about him because he looks good.
Yeah.
And then you just keep looking at the snap count.
The usage. Yep.
Yeah, and you're just like, well, I can't ride him until Damian Harris gets hurt.
Yep. And did you guys go over Ramondre versus GB?
Yeah, I would go Jacobs.
Yeah, Jacobs.
Yeah.
So we got another question coming in from YouTube. Super CNB Challengers wants to know PPR pick 2, Christian Kirk, Deontay Williams,
Johnson.
or Olave.
Christian Kirk and Chris Olave.
Wow, Wow, you don't even put Deontay in there? What? Like Deontay is not even a question there for you.
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is his quarterback still Mitchell Trubisky?
But do you see what his point totals have been the last 3 weeks? I mean,
Yeah.
nothing super
Have
exciting.
you
but
seen Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk, okay, I like. But
Have
like,
you seen what Olave's done? They're
Yeah,
both outscoring him. I don't understand why this is such a big thing to you.
wow. Hold on.
We're getting a lot of questions about Olave.
We keep getting like we keep going to the scores, and
Go
I
ahead.
keep being right. I'm just saying.
What? What are you talking about?
This week.
For
When?
this week, yes.
Which ones were you right on?
The last 3 we checked, I think.
I didn't ask you a question about Aaron Rodgers. Like you were like, yeah, I feel like you're counting Aaron Rodgers because you pointed out him having 3 bad weeks to me, and like I didn't ask you to look that up. I know what he did. He's on my roster.
Mike Williams without Keenan Allen. I money those.
He just did that last week, and it did not go well against the Jaguars defense. Until like if Herbert wasn't hurt, I would agree with that. But what the problem with Herbert being hurt is that he seems to struggle with throwing the deep ball, which is where Mike Williams makes his money.
Okay.
I did see him throwing some deep balls late in the game last
He
week
threw
when they were
them.
down.
He didn't throw them
Okay.
well.
Yeah, no, you're right. But and it's a week of healing, so
The injury the injury that Justin Herbert sustained is supposed to take a while to heal from.
okay. I haven't
Like,
looked into
it's-
his injury very much. So.
It's a rib injury.
okay.
Ironically, it's the same injury that Tyrod Taylor had that forced him out and forced Justin Herbert in.
Really?
Yeah, but anyway, and Tyrod Taylor is suing the guy that punctured his lung.
That's why I was like, man, I thought you could just take shots for the ribs. You know, good that I forgot about the lung.
Yeah,
Back to Patriots
Whoopsie.
Packers. Just a couple thoughts of my own on this game. I kind of feel like, in a weird way, even though they don't need to get right, this is going to be like a Packers get right game. He's going to figure out what receivers
and that's
he likes to use.
Like I said, the Treylon Burks game is coming. The Aaron Rodgers blow up game is coming too. The Aaron Rodgers get right game is coming too. And then when it happens, like it'll just be back to normal. I just expect that to happen. I do.
I don't.
I've just seen him do it with like worse receivers.
Not with worse.
Sure.
So Aaron Rodgers or Andy Dalton this week?
Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson are worse receivers than what he has now.
Then Lazard?
We'll get to your
Yes.
question.
Sorry,
So,
go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers or Andy Dalton this week?
Aaron Rodgers.
That might have been like we're testing you
He's
kind of
setting
question.
me up, man. You're setting me up. Oh, God.
That's so funny.
No, I mean, you got to go. I guess you got to go Rodgers there. He's
You
got
can't
the
pick
floor.
Andy Dalton
You
over
can't-
Aaron Rodgers ever.
I know.
Ever. I don't know. Oh man. Maybe if we're talking about Jeopardy host. Andy Dalton looks nerdy enough to be a better Jeopardy host.
You could be right there. Yeah.
I think we're all caught up in questions. Or one of our comments was they all have weaknesses. Kirk is guarded by Slay with supposed bad weather. Olave has a backup quarterback. Mike Williams with Herbert hurt and Deontay
Yeah, the
guarded by
Olave
Sauce
thing.
Gardner.
I
Yeah,
agree
I
with
agree with
the
all that.
Olave thing with the backup quarterback. It's just that they're also going to be missing 2 other receivers, so he's going to be number 1.
Okay, but that has its own, you know, if
Olave,
you are the only one.
So if
then
he
you're
was,
gonna
if
get
he,
all the attention
if he
too.
was, if he was just your typical rookie wide receiver, I'd agree with that. Like more attention means he could like just not
Fade out,
not get
yeah.
open. But Olave is like that was his thing. Is he's supposed to be the technician? He's like the best route runner. He's the most polished route runner of any of the receivers this year. So we'll see.
All right, yeah,
So your guys' picks for the Patriots versus Packers game?
Packers.
Woo! Unanimous.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Brian Hoyer's like 1-8 in his last 9 starts.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. We got to stress the Hoyer there.
yeah, and I think they were all with the Patriots.
And honestly, if there's anybody that you own from the Patriots, like you just don't want to start them this week. There's nobody you want to
Is
start.
there? Yeah, there's nobody, right?
No,
There's
I can't think of one
literally
person
nobody.
that you want to start. There's a couple of people that you could if you had to, but
Yeah,
like,
if you
I
had to
wouldn't
start Kendrick
want-
Bourne,
Ugh,
if you had to,
wow.
and that's rough.
Yeah, that's very
That's
rough.
that's rough. You could do better. You could find Richie James. I'm pretty sure.
Richie James.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've got Broncos on the road going to Las Vegas. Broncos looking bad, like just have not looked good so
And the
far.
Las
but
Vegas
2-1.
Raiders are a cornered animal.
And yeah, 0-3, looking horrible, but they've got talent. They've got pieces. Like, they can put it together and probably will put it together at some point this season.
Who do the Raiders play in Week 5?
Oh, I don't know.
I want to.
Before I get to that, what do you guys think the favorite on that game is? 2.5 Denver Broncos. Did I just say?
Oh, you
Plus 2.5 Denver Broncos, Raiders -2.5.
Man,
okay.
the
I would
Raiders
put it closer to a pick 'em myself. But.
That's as of 12 hours ago.
Do you think the Raiders are going to start this year 0-5?
Yes. I mean,
Who do
we'll
they play
see.
next week?
The Chiefs.
Yes.
God, I guess I do think that.
Barring some kind of injury this week, yes.
So I think the Raiders will pull this game out.
Okay,
But
so you don't. You'll think. they'll be
but
one-
weirdly, I think the Raiders are going to get off the schneid, and I think the Broncos offense is going to get off the schneid. I think the Broncos are going to score points, and they'll still lose.
So you think this is a 50-plus point game?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
I can actually see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those fun games. At the end of the game, is going to be like someone's going to be winning 30-27, something like that.
Maybe one of those sneaky DFS games. Like
Yes.
if you're avoiding the Buffalo Baltimore game, if you're going to avoid that game,
Yeah,
you think that's going to be
Russ.
low
Yeah,
scoring
I think
because of the weather?
Another way you could go is like
This is one way you could go.
because Vegas is good. The weather obviously is always perfect in Vegas. The blow up game I believe is coming for the Broncos. I do. I think Russell Wilson is not nearly as bad as his comparison to Geno Smith
agree.
makes him look
I
like
agree.
this year. And the guy he's doing it with is Cortland Sutton. So yeah, if I could easily see a stack of like Sutton and Wilson, and then bring it back with Devontae Adams because Devontae Adams has scored in every game.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see
But,
that as a nice little stack.
But yeah, that's just a prediction. I don't have a whole lot of faith that the Raiders are going to be able to do that. It's just that I also really don't see them going 0-5. Because that's one of those.
It does seem hard to
'cause
believe with the
that's
talent on their team.
That's one of those starts that gets a coach fired right away.
It's a new coach.
But
No, it's Josh McDaniels.
I was going to say
And
McDaniels,
that's
like
the-
he's a highly sought after guy. He's coming in
I
like
kinda
they
still
signed him
believe
to
in him,
a huge contract for multiple years.
Yeah,
like,
but they signed Gruden to a 10-year deal too. So
well, and they would have and they would have held to that if it wasn't for the craziness that happened.
maybe,
I mean,
maybe there's
no, I like they were kind
there's
of stuck
some
to
there's some
that, but-
underhandedness in that whole situation with Gruden. I think Gruden's going to end up winning.
Well, his contract says that the way he worded his contract was like, look, I am going to be your
Without getting too
coach
much
for
into
the
the
next 10
weeds,
years.
and getting too far away from football, there's just a bunch of emails that went back and forth. That it was just there's just some underhandedness that
the
happened.
NFL releasing the
Yeah.
emails they wanted to and the ones they
Yes.
dude, I get all that.
Yeah. So John Gruden's going to end up getting a bunch of money from the NFL for sure. I shouldn't say for sure, but that's the way that I feel. But I like Josh McDaniels. I really think that the Raiders are just like people aren't talking about them being clunky like they're talking about Russ and the Broncos being clunky, but it's the same thing. They're struggling too. They're having the same kind of issues, and I think that eventually they'll get it together. But man.
Is it this week?
They have to. They have to this week. It has to. It has to be this week.
Sure seems like it, but I'm looking at that defense for the Broncos.
I'm gonna
going,
pick the Raiders.
I'm gonna pick the Broncos, man.
Ken, you're alone on this one.
Yeah,
For me,
that's a close one.
For me, I'm just not going to pick a team that hasn't won. That's just like,
I don't pick losers.
well,
I only pick winners.
I would just feel silly picking a team like 0-3 and then they lose and then I have to sit there and go, I picked a team that was 0-3. Like,
How
what am
could I
doing?
have known? I love it.
All
Hopefully we're
right.
not.
On to
I think.
on to the actual best game of the weekend.
Well, I'm just with the whole Josh McDaniels thing and he came out of the Patriots. I still got 30 seconds on this game. He came out of the Patriots, and the Patriots haven't really been doing like. I got a question, and you might know the answer to this because I'm pretty sure, and I think I might have asked this last week, but we didn't kind of like really answer it. We just kind of laughed it off. Belichick has not got to a playoff game since Brady left, correct?
No, that's not correct.
He did the first season after.
No, last year they got smashed by the Bills.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember.
Oh yeah, they didn't really play like that.
Okay.
The Bills did not punt in that game. I'm pretty sure I think it was like 47-7 or something.
Okay,
like
so
that.
he has made it to one.
Yeah.
And then Josh McDaniels comes from that tree, so it's kind of like maybe some true colors are showing without the Brady effect.
It's weird. All of the Belichick disciples have struggled. Not one of them, right, has done well.
They all left without Brady. That's my point. Is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, but I mean, it is to be honest, it's kind of like a black mark. It's like the only black mark on Bill Belichick's resume is that his coaching tree is withered and fruitless.
I also heard certain things though about his organization, and who knows what's true about this kind of reporting. But I also heard certain things like he keeps a lot to himself. He only parcels out so much. Like he is very much like, I am the man. I am the guy in charge. Everything goes through me. I will give you the pieces of information you need to know.
Yeah, he works like the military.
Right, and so if that's how he works, then it seems like his assistant coaches would have a lot less power than they usually have, and may not be as good as.
Well, they're just
some
a
of the
lot
others.
less like their boss than some of the other disciples are. Whereas, like you watch, who was I was watching? So I was watching the Dolphins. I think it was. It's the no, not the Dolphins. Who was I watching? Who is it that just got the Rams coordinator? The Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
And yeah, so watching the Lions Vikings game, and then I watched the Rams Cardinals game later, and they ran the same fucking shovel pass in the red zone.
Yeah.
Like it was the exact same play. And it's like, but you don't see that, like them leaving the Patriots and then going to other places, and then those teams becoming anything like the Patriots. That just doesn't they have not been able to replicate it at all.
It just makes me think that Belichick is the man.
Yeah, he is the man.
That's what it makes me think.
He's the man.
Okay, so coming up against our next game is Chiefs at the Bucks. Chiefs are the Bucks are
Step out for a
-1.
second, I'll be right back.
Okay.
And the money line is 46. So what do you think of this game?
46 has got to be the over/under.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bucks -1.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bucks
right.
-1. Okay. So Bucks are at home. They're favored barely by 1. So basically, this is a pick 'em here. And gosh, I would agree with that if it wasn't for all the injuries on the Tampa Bay side. Because of all the injuries, because they've got people, maybe coming back this week for the first time, and that's all. Like, I would be really worried about starting Tampa Bay players and the Tampa Bay offense in general. I'm going to be on Kansas City this week. I acknowledge that this is going to be a good game, probably be close. I think it's going to be more defensive than people think. This is not a game that I'd be looking at as one of the offensive juggernauts of the week. To me, this is a very defensive game. CEH, I would totally stay away from. Kansas City, all the wide receiving options other than Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey, of course, but other than Kelsey, who the hell are you going to start? Like maybe Juju in a flex in a 3 wide receiver league, but like that's tough.
I'm starting Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, I definitely start Mahomes. I start Mahomes, but I don't know if I start anything around him, which is really weird. And on the Tampa side, again, you probably have to start Brady, but what are you starting around? Who's even starting around him this week? Godwin is a huge maybe. Evans is coming back.
Evans is back.
Right?
So weapons, I think things are just going to continue to get better in Tampa Bay.
Even without his offensive lineman?
That's never really
I'm getting
mattered.
that same
think that's
vibe one.
huge, man.
I think that's kind of be what's going to happen. We got a comment. Thinks Chiefs will smash the Bucks.
That has not been the issue for him. The issue has been that he hasn't had his weapons. It's that he hasn't had guys to throw to. He's still like when I watch them play, everything looks the same except for when he throws the ball, it doesn't go to somebody catching it.
Hey, that ball still zips through too.
He looks fine, and the offensive line looks like they're holding it together. They look like they're doing a fine job. I'm not like, and Leonard Fournette is still been successful on the ground. It really think is
serviceable.
It's just,
does it look like he's lost half a step? Not,
oh yeah,
not like
he
a full step, but like
he was
he's
never
not
that fast.
Quite,
he was
that's what I'm
was
saying.
never that fast.
So and he looks a little bit slower than he did last year.
And so they might work in Rachaad White some more. We'll see.
We'll see.
But so if we're just talking about this week, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the Buccaneers offense still. But we'll see what happens with Chris Godwin.
So are you picking Chiefs?
Mike Evans, if Godwin's going to play, if Godwin plays, no, I'm gonna pick the Bucs.
Okay.
You're picking the Bucks.
I'm gonna pick the Bucs.
All right, another lone wolf gift for Kane.
one more lone wolf.
Brian, do you have any lone wolf games?
I don't even know, man. I've been just like picking, but
I feel like he did somewhere.
oh, I got one.
Where?
The Giants.
Giants.
Oh, that,
That does not feel good. I'll tell you that right now. Oh my God!
you even said it. The Giants.
I threw up a little bit in my mouth just now. I'm just saying.
Oh, wow! What a beautiful way for the show to work out.
Okay,
that's amazing.
so is that our last pick for this week? Like
No,
we
we
didn't
got
talk
two
about
more.
Miami.
We have the Thursday night game. Right?
We got the Monday.
Oh
night
no,
game.
we saw the Rams game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
So,
that game and then talk about
49ers are a
Miami.
1.5 point favorite against the Rams this Monday night. Do you know why?
Why they're a favorite
Yeah, why the Niners, are a
Niners,
favorite?
yeah.
Because the Rams have not been able to beat the Niners
in San Francisco?
In the
in
regular
six in 6 regular season games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won the
that's-
playoff game, but McVay is like 1-6.
Now McVay claims that this is the week they're going to turn that around and they're going to start winning their games on the regular season.
You're gonna turn. Yeah, now we're gonna turn the streak around.
Yeah, so I mean,
It's gonna be an LA streak now.
obviously I'm going to pick the Rams because it's my homer obligation, but I am worried about this game.
And honestly, I'm going to pick the Rams too. And I am worried about this game. I don't know. The Niners just don't seem like they're pulling it together quite yet. The Rams, I must admit, they look like they're not quite what they were last year. They're a step away from really getting things together. But the Niners seem to really be a team in progress. With Garoppolo
See, I
coming
feel
back,
like they're a team.
they actually look a little better to me. But I don't know. I think LA is a better team right now.
I feel like they're a team in turmoil. The 49ers are. Like I feel like things are not going at all like they expected them to go. And that Broncos game last week, man, that was really, really bad. And I'm not like, let's forget about. Did you watch it? Because
No.
the result, whatever. Jimmy just like he did absolutely everything to make you think that they made the right decision to go with Trey Lance to start the year.
Yeah.
Everything he did everything. Like he did the Dan Orlovsky where he stepped out of the back of the end zone with no pressure. He missed guys that were open all night. They're open, and he just missed them, and they weren't hard throws. We're talking about crossing routes. He's missing crossing routes. Like it was bad, and my girlfriend is such a huge Jimmy G fan. I felt so bad because I'm laughing at the TV, and
Right.
she's like glaring at me. But it's like it was really bad.
Now, but do you give him any slack? Like, are you like, okay, this is
absolutely
this is his
not.
first game back. He missed all
I
training
don't
camp.
care.
that
He's a
they didn't
professional
want-
quarterback. Like
And he was a starter before.
He was
It's
the
not
starter,
like-
right,
yeah.
But like he didn't like they didn't have he was not allowed in the building during preseason. Like this new offense.
He held himself out.
No,
Yes, they did not
Well,
kick
whatever.
him out.
It doesn't matter
He
why
held
he wasn't
himself-
there,
yeah.
but he wasn't there.
Like I don't know.
I give him some slack.
no,
for
I
that,
don't.
But Okay.
I don't, and I'm willing. I'll be fine being wrong about that. But I'm telling you, like I've watched Jimmy G play a lot of football, and I was extremely disappointed last Sunday. Extremely disappointed.
Which makes me like, because it was so bad, like you don't put some rust on some of that, some not knowing the
he
playbook.
played
some
the
not,
week before.
half the game with no snaps.
It was
But
well
he was the
over
starter.
half the game.
I don't know. I'm just saying you got to give him some
It
slack.
was
in
well
my
over half
opinion,
the game.
but-
He had the whole hold on a second.
I'm disagreeing
Hold
with you on this,
Hold
Brian.
I gotta
I'm
stop.
disagreeing with you.
I gotta stop right here. How are you gonna make that argument while Cooper Rush is doing what he's doing in Dallas?
He got to play the preseason, right? So he
Okay,
got
so-
to like.
I
this
know
is-
I didn't just hear you say
No,
that. The
last
preseason
week was only
playing
week
the
3,
preseason.
brother. Week 3 last week.
understand. I
So
understand
like
that.
all the prep work, all the everything with their team, he got nothing to do with them.
He's been with the offense for 6 years.
Right, last year. Like I'm just saying, like the preseason matters. Like getting ready for
Dude,
the year.
I disagree.
Matters.
I disagree.
I think right now in the modern day NFL, preseason is tryouts. That's what I think.
It is, but it's also a tryout for your offensive system.
Now,
for your
what I'll say about the
defensive
preseason,
system.
I think the lack of effort in preseason and the lack of participation in preseason by the upper echelon players. I only want to just say the first stringers because
Brian scooted away from
the
me.
the second ones are important too. I do believe that has brought down the level of football that we get to see on Sundays at the beginning of the year
I
for
agree.
sure.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff looks like shit that you'd see in preseason.
Yep.
You know that they're doing, and by week 8 they won't be doing that stuff anymore. Like
agree.
teams will be over it. That being said, I don't think that's the issue. Like he's just not talented enough to get some of these things done.
Ooh, so are you
We'll
going
see.
the Rams
We'll
or are you
see.
going Niners?
I am gonna. I hate picking against the 49ers because they were my Super Bowl pick. You know, so I'll stick with them. I'll pick the 49ers at home on Monday.
Woo!
All right, you got all kinds of lone wolf.
5
this
of
week.
them, I think.
Dude, man, we're all over the place this week. And our Thursday night game, we got to do it for the teams out there, people who are relying on you guys for their
Now,
fantasy.
Do we want to talk about Miami before or after this game?
Let's do it. Let's finish
After.
this,
Okay.
and then we'll get into that. So Thursday night, Colts versus the Broncos. Let me see here.
Without knowing what happened this week,
Broncos are favored
these
by
are
10
so hard.
points. 6-point favorites. It's all over the place on the internet here. 3.5-point favorite.
I can see the Broncos being 4-1 by the time we get together again. I can see that. Like I said, I picked the Raiders, and I don't feel strongly about it. I just kind of want to believe that they're not going to go 0-5, and I have no confidence that they will win against Kansas City if they don't win. But it won't surprise me if the Broncos do win, and then I do expect them to win this game.
and honestly, on the other side of that, the Colts could be 3-1-1.
They could be.
after this. Like they could very well beat the Titans, and they could very well beat the Broncos.
I don't think they have as much of a chance of beating the Broncos on the road and at night.
I will say Indy has not looked as good. They just don't look like they're putting it together quite yet. They
Matt
look
Ryan
like
looks
they're missing
slow.
a little something.
Matt Ryan looks
Matt
like
Ryan doesn't look good.
So that's okay. So that's the interesting thing about that is that when I say he looks slow, he doesn't look physically slow. He looks like he's like processing slow. Like he looks like he's still learning the offense. So I want to believe they can get better, but right now they're not fun to watch.
Right. Ooh, gosh, wow. We shouldn't all be taking the Broncos here. We really shouldn't be, but I'm taking the Broncos? Wow.
Well, you know what? I think Russ is kind of started coming to life there at the end of the game last week against the Broncos.
Oh yeah,
And so I thought if he
Javonte
keeps
Williams is something we should talk about too.
if he keeps trending, you know what I mean. He might be figuring it out.
I think this is the weekend.
He's taking matters into his own hands.
You might
kinda
be
thing.
right on that. Like he's just figuring things out and getting things going.
But what did you say about Williams?
I think this is the weekend where he goes off. The Raiders have been soft against the run, and Javonte Williams just looks awesome when he has the ball in his hands. He looks awesome.
I agree, but so does Gordon. Gordon looks really
Gordon
good too.
doesn't look as good as Javonte it is.
Isn't Gordon the one that had 20 carries last week and had a good stat line or something close to that?
I don't think he had 20 carries. I know.
he
So
had
what they were doing is
more carries than he
they're
should have.
splitting goal line carries. So if you're a Javonte Williams manager, that's the frustrating thing is that they're splitting goal line carries, but neither of them have been super successful so far. They've both fumbled.
I was like, yeah, they keep fumbling.
So I still think it's just a matter of time before Javonte Williams eventually,
I do too.
carves out enough of the role that he's just an RB1 every week.
And I think I told you at the beginning of the year, going into this year, I had a 5-keeper league, and I dropped Nick Chubb
For Javonte?
For Javonte.
Yeah.
For a 5-keeper. And so just like I'm just looking at Javonte going like he's going to be better long term. Ooh, I hope I'm right.
Yeah, feeling bad after that Nick Chubb start though.
Dude, like he's the number 1 overall right
He's
now.
the best running back in football.
Yeah.
Like it's not close. When you watch Nick Chubb play football, like if you're somebody
good.
who just watch, like if you don't get to see the Browns play very often and you just see box scores, you know that Nick Chubb is a great running back who doesn't catch the ball. But man, he's not just a great running back doesn't do him justice. He's just so good. So
really
good.
good. Yeah.
Like his agility, his speed, his power, like the combination of a vision of all of those things, like he's far and away the best running back in football to me.
And the pros completely agree with you. Like everybody that I listen to that like knows what they're talking about, ex-players, like they all look at Javonte like he is the man. So that's why I grabbed him, and I'm just like crossing my fingers.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, and I mean that's why I traded so much for him. So
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Whoa.
So let's talk about what happened last night. When
Should we walk it back to Sunday first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great. That's for anybody who doesn't know, there was a hit on Tua in I believe it was the second quarter of the game against the Bills,
Early second quarter.
where you could see in the replay that his head clearly got slammed against the turf. So it's a good chance that he was concussed when he was running to catch up with what happened in the play because he had completed the pass, I believe.
He was wobbling.
He didn't wobble. His leg buckled.
Yes.
There's huge. It wasn't that he was woozy or wobbly. His leg buckled, and he immediately regained his balance and waved people off, and they pulled him out of the game and they checked him out and they decided that he was good to go back in the game.
Now wait, we need to pause right there.
Sure.
Like, could you believe that he came back into the game? I saw that replay.
Thank you for asking. And what I'll say is that I am far older than Tua, and not nearly in the shape that Tua is in.
Really?
I know, hard to believe, but I was just walking through my house 2 weeks ago, and just walking through my house, and all of a sudden my left leg just kind of buckled on me.
Yeah, sometimes you take a misstep.
I almost fell. I almost stumbled.
Oh, that's a bad buckle.
It was a bad one, and it was I was checking my leg out afterwards, and so when I saw him do that, it was fresh in my mind that had just happened to me, and I didn't think that he was concussed. And if you watch the rest of the game, he didn't look like he was concussed. So, and I know that they have protocols in place, and that he passed them. And so.
But you also mentioned that the guy that passed him got fired.
The guy did, but not the guy who wrote the protocol.
Okay, but it sounds like the guy that was in charge that night screwed up. That's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like.
You say that, and what I say to you in response to that is that Stephen A. Smith has a really loud mouth, and was on ESPN this morning saying somebody should get fired. I don't know who, but somebody should get fired.
Wait, how did he say it?
And not, yeah, I don't know who. Yeah, because he don't know nothing. But and then 6 hours later, I'm getting across my ticker that the physician that checked him out is getting fired, and I think there's a lot to that. I think there's a lot to that.
I don't know how much Stephen A. has to do that.
Not Stephen A. himself, but
yeah,
but
because
he but
everybody
but,
was saying
but
that.
noise like there's and like he's not the only one that says stuff like that though. I didn't mean to say that Stephen A. is the reason that guy got fired. What I meant to say is that the media is hounding for like the media wants blood right now because they always want blood.
I want to see an interview with that physician.
I don't care.
No, I want to know why.
Why? I don't care. That seems like the wrong place to start to me.
Why? What? Like, why not know what?
Why not start with the protocol?
His reasoning?
Why not start with the? What do you mean? What do you care what his reasoning is if you don't know what the protocol is? I want to know what the protocol is.
Well, supposedly
Do you know?
he's following the protocol, right?
Exactly, and that's why he shouldn't have been fired. That's my point.
Okay, so tell me.
Unless he was.
I don't know what the protocol is.
We don't know
We
if
don't
he-
know.
we don't know.
We don't know what the protocol is.
We don't know if he followed the protocol. So
My-
you
my-
would get separated if you didn't follow the protocol.
Sure, I
to the
agree
letter.
with that, but we don't know that. We don't know that. What we do know is that people want to see someone take the blame when something like this happens.
And I'll agree with the overreactions and all that. I agree with that. But like I remember somebody this morning, one of the professional players was like going through what the protocol is, like what are the things you look for. Shaking your head to try to get the cobwebs out. He did that. Not being or losing your sense of balance or whatever. Like he did that. Like there was like 5 or 6 things that he named off, and if those are part of the protocol, and to it like just from what we saw, failed all 5 or 6 of those, like wow, like there was a serious misstep here. Somebody messed up.
We don't
bad.
have enough information yet for me. Like,
And that's kind of surprising to me because it's not that complicated a situation. Like we should have that information by
which
now.
is
And we
another
don't.
which is another reason why I feel like he's just a scapegoat. The physician that got fired.
because they haven't released whether or not he
Exactly.
followed
What did he do?
That's why I want to know what he has to say.
But
There
he
you go.
probably won't say anything.
unless he's got a case.
He probably exactly, and he probably
got a
won't say
case.
anything because the thing is like it's good. It is good publicity for the Dolphins to have fired him. So therefore, they have plenty of reason to pay him off and get him to sign an NDR.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
And that's the world that we live in. Is
I thought
public-
that's. I kind of thought that's where you're going. Was
Yeah.
they just politically fired him
Yes.
and had him sign an NDR?
yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like-
So you think the protocol itself needs
Yes.
to be updated?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because
Now that
so
leads-
like when he came back into the game, I was surprised.
I was shocked.
But the thing is,
What the-
but the thing is like, so what we think this physician is a moron? He's a fucking doctor.
That's what I'm saying. I want to know
Dude,
what
he's a football
his
doctor.
reasoning was.
That's I don't even know what that means. He's
That means there could be times
And
where they allow certain things that happen that shouldn't for the sake of the win.
and who would be responsible? Like, and who would it be that would be over them telling them to do that? Because a doctor is never going to do that. A doctor is never they're never going to choose a football score over the health of anybody. No, doctor.
Never.
I hope.
That,
Like, you would-
that would never happen.
You know
A
what?
sports doctor would never
okay,
lie about
I-
an athlete and what their status is, so they can go play.
So hold on. No, absolutely not. Because of the ramifications.
Wasn't there just like a documentary or a movie that came out about that?
What do you mean?
About a doctor who was doing that, just
For concussions or
overall their health.
Well,
Nope, never mind. I'm thinking of something else.
So
And I'd be too embarrassed to share about what I was thinking of.
Ooh, now I want to know.
right?
So, based on how much money these people make, to have the position that they have, and
So, can I interrupt you for a second?
sure, absolutely.
We got a comment that says, I'm a Dolphins fan, and I did not think he should have come back. Yeah, they won the game. Good for us. But look at him now. So, piggybacking off that comment, let us know, you guys, if you think doctors lie about some of this athletic exams.
I'm not saying doctors don't lie. What I'm saying is I can't what is the motivation for that doctor to pass him through the protocols when he shouldn't have passed through the protocols? What's the motivation?
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what the pressures are for that individual person. We don't know.
Thank you for using the word pressures.
Yes.
Because where would pressure come from? Where would his pressure come from?
Whoever's paying his money, his paycheck.
Okay.
The organization.
Or
The organization.
Or he's a fan of the team, which is probably
That's ridiculous. That is
no.
what-
Bro, like that's actually
that's like Ace Ventura stuff.
I think I think maybe you need another approach, because I think you're going to get a lot of disagreement on doctors' motivation and whether or not they would actually do something like that.
Doctors are
the
people.
comments are coming back like, yeah, that never happens.
No, I'm talking about where's his motivation? The thing is, these people make so much money. They make so much money, and they have so much to lose
and they're so
permanently. It's
and
not
they-
like he can just. It's not like he can lose his medical license and then just go pick up another one in another state.
But he's going to be okay in life.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Maybe you don't know that. That's crazy.
For sure. But I do know
He's not making millions of dollars.
But I do know about arrogance, and I do know that there's a certain arrogance that comes with being that, like, you are the forefront sports doctor in Florida or wherever you are, and you get to be that guy.
That sounds like a 1995 argument to me.
Ken's
Like,
the,
there's-
Could be, but
Ken's the
it-
sports doctor
There's
apologist.
no,
over
it's
here.
there's. I don't mean to be a sports doctor apologist, and I don't particularly care that the guy got fired, but when I looking at everything, it seems slimy to me. I have a hard time believing that guy was solely responsible for what happened to Tua. I have a very hard time believing that.
Yeah, well, I think we can all agree the
And
fault
in fact-
wasn't just on the doctor.
And if it wasn't, then he shouldn't have got fired.
Let me put it this
okay.
way. We have watched a crap ton of football, the three of us, over the last 15 to 20 years, right?
30.
I was going for conservative estimate.
He was going
So,
age.
We have watched a ton of football.
Yeah, when I make
Have you-
1995 jokes, I was there. I watched
Have you
football in
ever,
1995.
even since 95, have you ever seen anybody looking that obviously woozy, looking obviously that concussed, and come back into the game? Because I haven't.
Before protocols, sure.
Even before protocols,
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody like
Oh yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. Troy Aikman got concussions like every other week.
that.
Yeah, it was bad. Like,
I guess I have to go back and see because I don't
Troy,
remember
Troy Aikman would get
anything
hit
like that.
and he'd be on the sidelines with smelling salts, and he'd be back in the game like 2 series later.
So our comment
I'm
is
serious. I'm dead fucking serious.
I believe you.
our comment is the doctor had the Dolphins in his parlay.
And see, that's funny. That's funny. And that's not. It's funny and it's also ridiculous.
No,
'cause there's-
that's for fun. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's it's funny, it's ridiculous, and it's also the only logical explanation for why he would make a decision
I disagree
that goes
with that
against the
part.
protocols.
I disagree with that part. I think there are other pressures that you and I don't feel because we're not in that situation. I think being in that situation
Okay, and you know what? And then
at the moment when the whole country's looking at you, millions of people are looking at you and your decision and want Tua back in the game. Like I see what you're saying, and I feel and like I feel like
I
in
just
that
feel like
situation,
there's
I
been
would
too
feel
many
the same.
times, and I feel okay.
But-
now hold on.
People are human.
Now
I love this conversation.
Now I feel like you've
we haven't even got to
yourself.
Thursday.
I feel like
No,
you've
we got Thursday.
I feel like you've contradicted yourself. And I feel like I lost my train of thought. But
Gotcha.
so the thing is that you say that when have we seen a quarterback like be that obviously woozy
Honestly, any NFL player.
and
but-
come back and you said even since 1995, right? Okay. I say that we see it happen all the time nowadays where quarterbacks get pulled out of the game or players get pulled out of the game for fear of a concussion. Like in the last 10 years specifically, the league, that is their number one is watching out for concussions.
Right.
Right? Okay.
I would say that's a major priority. It's been a shift, and that's why this was such a shock. Like, this guy was obviously messed up. Like something happened. They said it was back, but like that doesn't make any sense.
Like I'd have to watch it again, like probably several times. But watching it, when I watched the game and watching the replays, like I didn't see somebody who was out of it, because I've seen you've seen that plenty of times where they don't know exactly where to go. They bump into guys, and he stumbled, but he got helped up, and like the shaking your head. Players do that all the time. Like you take a hit.
Yeah, they don't always buckle.
Right.
They don't always buckle, but he also did, like, knowing
But that's part of the concussion protocol. That's part of the concussion protocol.
And they took him out of the game.
Shaking your head.
And they took him out of the game for a series. They went and they checked him out. So
okay.
So like when you say that, well, they should have seen that. They did see that on the field, and they did pull him out. So the question isn't that why didn't they see this happen on the field? They saw that. The question to me at hand is
what's the reasoning?
That's, and again, the question to me is what is the protocol after he left the field? Because we know now that people can be looking from the skybox. They can see a player that looks woozy, and they have the power to stop the play.
To pull them off the field, yes.
We know that. So what happens after that? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Right.
And until we know that, arguing about any of it is kind of pointless.
And like I say, what I'm going off of is what the professional player on ESPN told me. Like how accurate he is, I do not know. But
I know, but
he's telling me these points, and I'm just like,
they have, the guys on television have an axe to grind too.
I agree. Like,
So we got a question in regard to the situation. Do you think this could come back at Mike McDaniel, or is it just the doctor's fault?
I don't think so. I think this skipped right over his head.
Right.
Because I can imagine Tua being a put-me-in guy and is still too young to believe he is good when he wasn't.
I don't think the head coach has.
Well, that's what the doctor's for, right?
Exactly. And and here's why I want to know what the protocol is when they leave the field. When it's been we have decided that this player is showing concussion symptoms. What happens next? That's what I want to know. That's what needs to be open to everybody. That's what every single sports station should be talking about ESPN right now. Yeah. What happens? What's step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? He goes back to the field. What are those steps? I want to know.
Why isn't that on SportsCenter every hour?
I want to know.
Absolutely.
And because until we know any of that, all we're doing is speculating. Like we don't actually know what he went through and whether or not it's possible that he passed through it. But one of the other things that I've heard from a player is that it's entirely possible to have a concussion and pass these protocols and get back into the game.
I have seen some interviews about that too.
So I want to know. I want to know what they are.
I want to know.
And that's the thing is, like, if the doctor did his job, and I want to know if he did his job. That's what I want to know.
I do too.
Before we talk about whether he should have been fired, I want to know if he did that. That's
Absolutely. I want to know what the requirements were.
And if he did his job, I want him. He needs to sue the Dolphins.
Yes.
Or he needs to be,
will.
or be,
yeah.
Or he got paid already. Like, we don't know. We don't know. But,
so you got a thought, Brian?
I did.
Here, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Before you have a thought, I have a question. Did either of you guys think that Tua shouldn't have played last night or Thursday? Did either of you guys think that he should have sat out Thursday?
I would have liked to rewatch that Miami game in order to make the
Bills game.
No, well, Miami, right? He's
the Miami versus Buffalo game. Yeah, that's where he got hurt because it happened in the second quarter and he finished the game.
So I would want to just kind of watch him myself before I would be like yes or no on that, yea or nay. That's my answer to that question.
My answer would be, to ask me that question. Okay, you're asking me as if I'm Mike McDaniel. Okay, so I'm the head coach. And
no, I don't want to ask you though you're Mike McDaniel. I want to ask you as though you're the public who's outraged right now.
Well, I'm saying it's the public public that's outraged does not
I'm sure
have
Mike
the
Daniel.
answers.
I'm sure Mike Daniel has a very different opinion than the public right now.
And that's what I'm saying is he has the answers. And from his point of view, it's got to be like, what do I do? Like look, my the doctor said this. Everything else said this.
And that's what I'm saying.
My owner says
that's
this.
why I say, like,
my
to the
logic
person
says
who
this.
asked the
Like,
question.
what do I do?
I think this went right over Mike McDaniel's head as far as
Yeah.
the responsibility of it. This flies right over his head. I don't think he's gonna. Any of it's gonna get attached to him.
I
So-
hope not, because he comes off as a really intelligent coach to me that I'd like to see
The,
around for
the
a
head
while.
coach isn't making those decisions. The head coach isn't even over there talking to the injured player.
He could if he wanted to.
He's coaching, but he's
yeah.
coaching the game. Oh, he can't
No,
really.
well,
He's busy. He's busy.
I agree with that, but I'm saying like
You don't-
he
it's not
could
done.
say,
You don't
hey, I
see-
don't want him back in the game. You know what I mean? But
He
I
could,
think that's an unrealistic
but I don't
expectation.
But I
given,
think
given
that's
the
one of those things. It's
circumstances.
like, just like you have people up in the booth who are telling you when to throw the challenge flag. That's someone else is telling you that Tua is okay, and if Tua is okay, get in there.
yeah, but they have more information than you. So
But I mean,
that's
he
what you're
might,
assuming.
but he might not be getting that information during the game because he's got other things to focus on.
No, he yeah, that's what I'm saying. The people that are telling him,
Yes. So and,
You are
he's got
assuming that
he's
they're
got a game
informed.
to
Yeah.
win. Yeah, Mike McDaniel's has a game to win, and someone taps him on the shoulder, says Tua is good to go. Get him in there. Not there's I'm certainly like during in the middle of a football game. I'm certainly not going. Are you sure?
No, and what the media is saying is that like Monday morning you should have looked at that and gone, well, there's something a problem. And you should have made sure you got an MRI
And the
and
media
all
is
this. And I'm just like,
and the
okay,
media can go suck a dick.
okay, you know,
So I follow Joy.
you owe a dollar to the cuss jar.
Sure. So do you. You owe at least a couple from your Rick James.
Oh yeah.
We all did.
I only said it once.
So
We
anyway,
all were all
those
over
are
that this week.
I thought the best media take all week on the situation came from Joy Taylor, and that was her.
Where is she at these days?
She's on FS1. She's got her own show. It's called.
Okay, because now it's
she was with Colin Cowherd for a couple
Right,
of years,
right,
and now
yeah.
she's got a show called Speak.
okay.
Anyway,
Shout out to Joy Taylor.
She was basically telling the rest of the media they need to just back off and shut up because they're just as complicit in this problem as anybody else because it's us talking like us now media talking talking about fantasy football and putting all this pressure on these situations. Like that comes from the media more than anything else. Right. So the media being outraged over something the media caused is really ridiculous.
So I got a comment that
Welcome
kind of
to
leads us
America.
into the Thursday game. The hit he took in the Bills game was worse than the one
I agree.
he took against the Bengals.
I agree. Like I thought that the hit in the Bills game was clean, although it was more devastating.
that whip factor.
The
man.
whip
Oh,
in the
man.
Bengals game that I thought I haven't seen anything yet, and maybe it's because we're still in the middle of the week and the league doesn't process those things until after all the games have been played. But that guy's going to get fined because that was an illegal play. That's a play that I thought I was really surprised there wasn't a flag on that play. That was a personal foul for sure. Like they're totally against slamming players to the ground anymore.
and that's what he did. No
So
doubt.
in the Thursday
I
game,
gotta say, like when I don't know about you guys, but did you guys watch the game? You were
The Thursday
so,
game-
I watched the last half.
So
had,
when
like,
that
I had
happened,
parent-teacher
I was
conferences.
afraid to watch the replay when it first happened because like Tua got up throwing up gang signs,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and it's like the way he was like looking at his hand, I was like, did he like get slammed on his hand and his hand broke in several places and it's like this disgusting break and those are always the hardest replays for me to watch
Right.
are the gruesome breaks and stuff like that. And then I watched it and I was like, well that wasn't that bad. Like it was illegal.
Yeah, so-
it was illegal for
So-
sure, but it wasn't that bad.
so the dude looked like he got hit into a
A seizure.
seizure. Why maybe it's the booze. But the comment, I think he was still prone, so just a light blow, like what happening on Thursday, would cause the episode.
and what
thank you,
people-
John, for that, or Josh, for that comment.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. And what people have talked about, and like I like to listen to ESPN when stuff like this happens because Stefania Bell, they have Stefania Bell, and she's just like she's the best with injuries. Like Betts is great, but Betts isn't like as vocal and out there and like informational as she is. That's why I always go to her. Anyway, these things like it can go back and forth. Like what they say is that concussions are a non-linear injury, so you can be having concussion symptoms and then be cleared of them and then have them again, like while you're going through the process.
That's
of-
what that
of
whole
the- of the
CTE thing
concussion.
is about too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the long-term effects
Yes.
from the
head trauma.
head trauma from those types of concussions. Oh fuck! I shouldn't be talking. I
So
need you to take over.
Time to end the show.
yeah, we're getting there. We're almost at DraftKings time, right?
Yeah, and I was
So,
yeah,
so
we
do we
are
want to put a
DraftKings
cherry on that somehow?
yeah. Let's somehow figure out to wrap that up.
So, me personally, I really hate it when people just start getting fired, you know, and just
Reactionary.
yes,
fire. Yes.
reactions start happening because, like, most of the time, you know, you let things boil over for a little bit, and you find out that it was just like that there were a lot of understandable things that happened. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and that's probably what happened here. There was probably just a number of understandable things that ended in a horrible result.
That made sense in the moment.
Yes.
Decision after decision
Yes.
after decision. You're like, okay, that makes sense right now. And then you see the end result, and you're like, oh shit.
Days later,
Whoopsie.
yeah, and it's several days later you see
Yep.
the end result, you know,
Yeah.
and it's and the thing is like that guy is in the news for getting fired, and it's probably and he's gonna have to answer that he's
Yep.
gonna have to answer for that for forever,
I know. But
and it
also,
might not be his fault.
And I agree. That's why I want to hear the interview from him, because what happened and how it happened and the timeline that it happened matters so much, and it all matters from him because he was the decision maker. Now, I can understand that, like, what you're saying is like, well, between the lawsuits and whatever else, he's not going to be able to answer, truthfully. But if you could get truthful answers out of him, like, that would be hugely valuable. I mean, that's what you want, but you're not going to get.
So
All right, moving on to DraftKings.
I think I'll just go ahead and go.
Who's drinking? Who's drinking for DraftKings last week? It
Like
wasn't
who
me.
got
I
last?
guess that was me by half a point.
Yeah.
wait. I just want to say it was 124.5 to 125 to 126.
128.
28.
128.
Okay,
Dude, this was
I
our
crushed you guys.
way off.
This was our
So sorry.
closest. Yeah.
So, yes, I lost by half a point.
Damian Pierce was in that lineup, by the way.
So I'll go ahead and kick things off here.
The reason why I lost, I'm sure.
I went ahead and went with Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback, as we kind of said earlier. That kind of feels like it's going to be his get right game. Eckler, and he was only 6,300 for this week too. So I was like, yeah, let's go with that. Eckler against Houston, Etienne against Philadelphia, Dortch, just to see if he can keep riding the hype. I want to see if he can keep riding that hype, so I picked Dortch. Lockett, that was more of a budget pick, 5,900.
He's way undervalued to me.
I agree too.
So Pittman, because I needed a running back against a weak running defense, and then Hawkinson, because that was a more of a budget pick, but he does get targeted, so I went with him. Hines,
He's in a good matchup too.
Yeah, it's a good matchup for Hawkinson, and like they're down St. Brown, so
and then Hines, I thought was a pretty good flex pick, and the Cowboys defense against Washington, because I just do not see Wentz
the Cowboys just
doing anything.
The Cowboys brutalized the Commanders last year in both games. Like they 56-14 in Dallas,
Okay.
and the other game might have been uglier. Like,
Wow.
The game in Washington was a closer final score, but man, what that Cowboys defense did to the Commanders offense both games last year, brutal.
All right.
Love it.
All right. I'll go ahead and go next here. Let's see. Now, this is more of a cash game lineup between just the three of us here, and I
We're
entered
doing
this
the tournaments ones after, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I enter this into a 50-50 lineup, just so you guys know. So, like, this is what I'm going for. So, based on that, I'm going to go with Josh Allen. Now, that's the game I've been talking about. You either want to be going heavily on this game or heavily off this game. I think in the middle is kind of a bad choice, but, I could be wrong there, but I don't know. It seems like this game is either going to be like lights out, 65 plus points, or this is going to be a weather game and two tough teams going at each other, and it's going to be under 40. Like, I don't see a lot in the middle. So anyway, I'm going Josh Allen here. I think no matter what, even with that secondary, Baltimore, like Allen is guaranteed a certain amount of points. So I think it's worth paying up for him in a cash lineup. So of course I'm going to go with Diggs to go with that there. Greg Davis is out. I think Diggs is going to have a few more looks. Just going to be good there. Okay, running back. Now this is based on a little bit on what's that? God dang it. What's his name? Not Montgomery. I keep wanting to say Montgomery over in Atlanta. Patterson.
Patterson being out.
All right,
Okay.
Patterson's going to probably be out, so I'm going to start Tyler Algier.
Ooh, that's risky.
It is risky.
This is your tournament lineup or cash?
This is my cash.
Okay.
This is my cash. I'm saving a little bit of money here
Brian's
for
gonna
some.
take another shot next week.
I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. I've got Jamal Williams in as my other running back.
Okay.
I think he's pretty solid here, especially in cash. Wide receiver, Amari Cooper is just sneaky good. You look at his stats, you look at his usage, you look at everything over the last few weeks. Like and he's going up against a horrible defense. Like, it's hard not to pick him this week. Stephon Diggs, again, kind of the same argument. I've got him as a correlation with my quarterback. He's going to be great. We talked about Richie James at the wide receivers. See, he's only 4,000. I think he's going to get 8 to 10 targets, and he's not going to suck for you. And hey, he catches a touchdown. It's going to be great.
Yeah, at 4,000, he catches a touchdown, and you're just in money.
Yeah,
money.
And even if he doesn't, I think you're going to be fine. I think he's going to get 10 to 12 points.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think it's hard for him not to pay you off.
Exactly. At tight end, I've got Robert Tonyan.
That's a good one. This week.
I find it hard to believe he doesn't catch
The
a touchdown
Patriots are
this year.
surprisingly bad against tight ends right now.
29.
Now, a lot of that is Mark
29?
Andrews. Mark Andrews, that's not fair. But
That is part of it, but I don't know. I think that Green Bay has to throw to somebody, and Tonyan is one of those proven targets, and so I like to bet on that. At the flex position, I think Deontay Johnson is a nice little guarantee. He's averaging 14 points a game. He's not really going to go lower than that, and who knows? Maybe he might actually catch a touchdown, in which case he's going to be great. And then the defense, I've got the Lions against Seattle at home. I paid up just a little bit for this, but I think it's worthwhile. The Lions at home against Seattle. That's an interesting call. Traveling cross country. I think the Lions are going to be good as far as the defense goes. Go ahead.
I like it. Sounds good. All right, so I'm also going to run Josh Allen at $8,400. I'm going to save a little bit of money at running back with Rashad Penny, but I feel great about that. He's a $4,900 play this weekend. The Lions have, like I said, they've given up, I think, 8 touchdowns on the ground this year. And I would be surprised if Penny doesn't get one this weekend. I think that him having one of those, games where he has 14 carries and 120 yards and a touchdown is just, it's coming. And this makes the most sense. He's playing against the Lions this weekend. Right next to him at 6,600, I've got Javonte Williams, which I feel excellent about. He's playing against the Raiders. The Raiders have not been able to stop the run at all. And Javonte Williams just gets a lot of work. So I think he's a really good play at 6,600. I think he's undervalued. To stack with my quarterback from the Baltimore-Buffalo game, I've got Gabriel Davis at $6,600.
Now, everything I've said says that. Everything I've read says that he.
I might change him. He's
playing. Okay.
So that was the I might swap that one out.
Okay, fair enough.
Wait.
And if I do,
you can't swap him out after we make it official.
For injury, I think it's okay.
All right.
Just for injury, no other reason.
yeah, that's the only reason. If he's not able to go, what will likely happen is I will likely swap him out for Isaiah McKenzie and make a stronger play at my flex, which we'll get to in a minute.
Okay.
So my second wide receiver, is Tyler Lockett at 5,900. I think he's just
sneaky good.
Yeah, I think he's an insane play this weekend. And then at 4,600, I have Josh Reynolds, who, if you don't know, he played with Jared Goff in L.A. They have a pretty good connection together. He's caught 2 touchdowns already this year, I think. Both of them were in the red zone. I think he's going to get some extra work with St. Brown out. I think he's the person who benefits the most from Amon-Ra St. Brown being out this weekend.
Very possible.
At tight end, I'm going to stack back against my Buffalo stack with Mark Andrews, which feels like cheating. And then I'm going to punt at my flex with Cole Kmet.
Which is how you afforded Andrews.
Yeah. And at 3,200, Cole Kmet, he scores a touchdown, and you're golden. Like, more than golden. And
at that low, I probably would have gone with Stills as my flex, the other wide receiver on the Giants. I think he seems a little bit more reasonable there, but
yeah, this, like I said, it's a punt. It's a total punt play.
yeah, totally.
Total punt play. But it's
Yeah.
but my favorite, what I look for in a punt play is not somebody who, if they come through, they're just like, oh, that was nice. I'm looking for, that was freaking amazing.
Okay.
And Cole Kmet,
Yes, he could have a good game.
he is like, among the range of outcomes is Cole Kmet catching 7 balls and a touchdown.
And 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
I'd say 2.
Yes,
Like,
he could.
yeah,
he could do that.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, he could do that. He gets enough of the red zone targets when they get there. So I think he's a great punt play. And then on defense, I'm going to start the Broncos against Derek Carr,
Fair enough.
and that is my cash lineup.
Do you want to just roll into your tournament?
Yeah, and then for my tournament lineup, I love my tournament lineup. This one's so much fun. So at quarterback, I got Geno Smith for $5,400.
I love that we. Well, I haven't seen Rays, but I love that we've all gone with like crappy quarterbacks. Go ahead.
I had Josh Allen for my cash. But,
For tournament.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I think that's a strong play. In
You're
tournaments.
right. In tournament, you really don't want to go with the chalk plays. You don't
You wanna
if
bu-
you're
you-
in a tournament and you're starting, Allen or Jackson or Hurt, like
You're gonna make
Hurts,
your money
like,
back probably, but
Yeah, but you're not
you're
going
not
to
gonna
make big
win.
money.
Yeah.
The chances of you winning the big one is just
the people
so
who
small.
the
at that
people who
point.
win are the people who were smart enough to start Jared Goff last week.
Right. So if you can get lucky on that quarterback that doesn't look like he's going to score a ton of points, but yet he's in that game where all those points are
Yes.
scored, that's what you're
Yes.
looking for a GPP.
And so Geno Smith has been I think I don't know what it is now, but I know going into week 3 he was leading the league in pass completion percentage by like 10%. It was absurd. So far, that has not translated into a ton of touchdowns.
Well, because they're all short yardage passes, but still.
But
I'm still impressed with the stat.
so the thing is that it's just a matter of time before they play against a defense that misses tackles. Is the way that I feel. Like the way he's running the offense, with as efficiently as he's running the offense, at some point he's going to throw 4 touchdown passes. It seems that way. So maybe that's this weekend. Who knows? And maybe they're all to Tyler Lockett.
That was Ray laughing over
Who's
there.
all, well, Ray loves the Seahawks and believes in them tremendously.
Oh yeah.
So I got Geno Smith at quarterback. At running back, I've got Nick Chubb, the best in the game, and I've got Khalil Herbert. At wide receiver, I've got CeeDee Lamb, ready to roast those Durs. And then
Consideration of mine.
Tyler Lockett to stack with my quarterback, and then to stack back, copying off of my cash game lineup, I've got Josh Reynolds. At tight end for $5,000, and this seems ridiculous, is Kyle Pitts. The Kyle Pitts monster game's coming. Like last week, he didn't even have a great game, and he was 12 points PPR.
Right, which isn't worth 5,000.
No, but his 7 for 126 and 2 touchdown game, it certainly is, and that's the thing is
When
like
it comes, yeah.
it's coming. That's like I was talking about with Treylon Burks. Like he's getting the targets. It's coming. It's gonna happen.
I don't even disagree, but you don't know when.
No, you don't. You don't know when. But this is a tournament lineup and not a cash
fair.
lineup. So
That's fair.
and that's what you want is
Yep.
what you want to bet on is. I know that this big thing is going to happen, and you want it to happen this week. like, because that's how you win. You're not gonna win by making a bunch of good starts. You're gonna win by making a couple of good starts and a bunch of great starts. You have to make great starts if you want to win a tournament. At Flex, I got this loser from Pittsburgh, D. Johnson.
Never heard of him.
And then I actually feel much better about this defense. Like I should swap the other one. And I'm gonna play the Bears against the Giants.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I actually am gonna do that for the cash one. They're the same price at $2,700.
That's fine.
So I went straight reaching on a lot of my picks for this cash.
No,
tournament. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're getting out there, folks. All right, here we go.
So Jared Goff is my quarterback.
Okay.
See, I think
I just want to say that was my quarterback until St. Brown was ruled out, and then I was like,
he's got a tight end to throw to.
there you go.
Penny for running back, Singletary for running back.
That's a good one. That I'm jealous of that one.
Cooper from Cleveland, like trying to ride that Hollins train into one more week. Lamb, Conklin, Diggs as my flex, and Packers for my defense.
All right.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You were able to fit the Packers defense in. That's good.
And Diggs is a flex.
So for anybody who didn't notice, Ray spent up on defense in both of his lineups. Yeah, they were both over 3,500.
Yeah, I believe so.
Which is the mark. If like $3,500 that's like when you're spending that on a defense, that's because the industry has decided that defense is going to dominate.
Like you have a great matchup. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to warn you people. I went a little bit out there on my tournament lineup. Like,
Good for you.
My tournament lineup, like this is like here's what you want to do. Like you really want to take a chance on your tournament lineup. You're going for first.
You ain't first, you're last.
Absolutely. Like that's the thing is you're going for first, and so you really got to do something a little different to give yourself a chance. Not saying you can't play any chalk plays, but you can't play a bunch of chalk plays. You got to play some chalk plays and then something that's out there that you happen to hit on. So something that's out there that I'm hoping to hit on this week is Baker Mayfield as my quarterback.
He's got to give us one, right? He's got to give us one.
All right. Now,
Okay, seriously though. Seriously. Let's get back to the lineup. Seriously.
Baker Mayfield is playing against Arizona.
I almost picked Baker, to be honest, but go ahead.
So he's at home. He's at home. The Arizona defense is absolutely horrible. They absolutely need a win. They have a team that's coming together. They actually got a lucky win this week. What we were talking about earlier, like that team starting to come together a little bit.
Yeah,
like
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So I laughed really hard, but I don't hate it. I just, man, that like betting on Baker Mayfield, just like,
oh, it doesn't feel good.
No.
Like no, it does not feel good.
Like I don't.
But, but you have to get a little crazy with your tournament lineups. You have to be like, okay, if this crazy stuff happens,
okay, so hold on.
I'm gonna be amazing.
So what's Baker gonna do? Let's talk about what is the. So
I'm looking at Baker.
I've outlined some floors and ceilings.
Let him finish it, and then we'll talk Baker.
Okay, so
if you guys want to.
I would say his ceiling would be 275 to 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a few yards rushing.
So I should start DJ Moore.
Yeah, you
So
should.
my number 1 wide receiver is DJ Moore. So that's my stack.
Dude, I'm
this
gonna
week.
start him now. I'm gonna start him against you now. We're playing heads up in the league that we play in together,
Yep.
and I have DJ Moore on my bench, and I have my flex spot is in. Like there's 3 different players I kind of want to play in my flex spot. DJ Moore's among them.
This was all a troll to get you to start DJ Moore. So
It worked.
All right. So that's my like out there. Like I don't think many people are like Baker Mayfield is going to be 2% owned or less.
Oh, 2%'s a high number.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's a 1%er. Like I really like that there as long as he can do decent. DJ Moore is going to be 5% or less. So if that combo can hit, like I've got a huge leg up on the rest of the field. Okay. So if I get that huge leg up, I'm looking at running back Saquon Barkley,
Oh yeah.
who I
He's
think
gonna destroy. He's gonna destroy.
again he's just underpriced for as good as he's
8,000,
running.
right? Is he
Yes,
still 8,000?
8,000.
Yeah, that's wrong.
And like as good as he is running, this guy is going to be amazing.
He still
for a
hasn't
few
had his
weeks.
2 touchdown game yet.
Yes,
That's happening. That's
and that's
coming.
going to happen.
Yes.
It's either this week or next week.
It's coming.
I completely agree there. So my other running back, I'm going to go with Jamal Williams from Detroit. I think he's going to get.
That's really
all
good. That's
the
a good
work.
pair. That's a strong pair.
If he doesn't get 90 yards, from scrimmage and a touchdown, I'd be shocked.
I swear to God, though, I really do. I just have this feeling that he's going to do exactly what he always does, and then you're going to see a lot of Craig. I do. I really
All
think
right,
that,
all right.
man. Well, can we bet on like over/under carries for Craig Reynolds this week?
How about Jamal Williams versus Craig Wood?
No, I don't like that though.
come
No, that's not as fun. That's not as, like
It's fun for me.
No, yeah, it's fun for you because Jamal Williams is going to win that no matter what. But like, what you're not expecting is Craig Reynolds to have, say, 10 carries.
I will not be expecting that. You're right.
so if I was to bet you that Craig Reynolds is going
I'd
to
be
have 10
pissed if that
carries,
happens.
you'd be willing to take the bet?
Wait, what's the bet? 10 carries? I'd bet on 10. I'll bet on the under.
I'll bet on that. I will bet that Craig
Put
Reynolds
it on the
will
board.
have
We
10
need,
carries.
we need a weekly bet. Put it on the
Yes,
board.
Thank you.
All right, I'll take the under on that one. Love it.
I love this bet. This is so much fun.
All right. So I'm taking Jamal Williams there. For my other receivers, Amari Cooper is just so sneaky good. Like, his stats have been amazing this year. Like, he's just getting all the looks. He's the number one. Like, and he's going to go up against a horrible defense. Like, pick Amari Cooper this week. I don't see how he has a bad game. DJ Moore is my other guy. Of course, a little risky there. Wide receiver, my last one is Cortland Sutton. I think he has a
This is
decent
good
week
stuff.
against. Yeah, I think he has a decent week against Las Vegas, and you're starting to see why I picked Mayfield and Moore as my stack, because if that stack does just a little bit good, like the rest of the people around it, it's going to make this a good tournament lineup. So that's what I'm going for. Cortland Sutton, I think he has a chance at a good week. Tight end, I just couldn't get off Robert Tonyan. Like, I love Robert Tonyan this week at the price. Like, how he doesn't get 12 points this week, I just don't know.
And yet he's starting Irv Smith against me with Robert Tonyan on the waiver wire.
As of now, I'm still thinking about that one.
He's also still thinking about his quarterback decision.
Actually, I don't think he's on the waiver wire.
Yesterday it was
Jared
Jared Goff.
And dropped him.
And tomorrow it could be Baker Mayfield.
I'm sticking with Mariota on that one. I'm sticking with Mariota. This is a tournament lineup, sir. My flex is going to be a little risky with CeeDee Lamb.
How is that risky?
That's a troll. All right. So CeeDee Lamb.
I mean, he does drop the ball a lot.
Yes, but he gets 100 targets, and he's the only person in that offense. Like,
he does get 100 targets roughly per game.
Yeah, he's going to get. He's got a huge baseline of points. And then for DST, I picked the Titans against Indy to see what happens there.
Okay.
So that's my tournament lineup.
All right.
So we do have a couple questions while we were doing that.
Oh, lovely.
First up, Josh wants to know. Let me see. Let me find your question here. Do you guys know if Kamara is playing? Because I still see him as questionable, and it sucks because
he'll be there.
Early game.
There was nothing that happened to him in the game that would keep him out.
Everything I see says he's playing. I've got him in multiple leagues.
He did not get hurt last weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching it in the morning just to be sure, but I'm not worried about it. I think
that would be so
he's gonna
weird.
have a good game.
That would be so weird if he didn't play. I have no idea why he wouldn't play in this game.
Yeah.
There was
I agree.
Absolutely
He's gonna be
nothing
good.
that happened to him in the Panthers game.
Yeah. Start him with confidence.
Yeah.
And our second one is by Joker, who hasn't had a question all night. And I think he came. I think he came back. I think he was in some of our previous.
I think so too.
Who to start for flex full PPR? Jeff Wilson, J.R. Rashad Penny, Ramondre Stevenson.
Wilson.
Yeah, not Stevenson.
I feel like Wilson's the floor play and Penny is the ceiling play.
So
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Because the thing is, you're worried about Penny is that he's not going to get enough work, and you don't worry about that with Wilson. Wilson's going to get the work.
And because of that, I
Next
think Wilson
week,
has a little bit of a ceiling. So honestly, I think Wilson is the play there.
Yeah.
If you really want to go Penny,
Thank you, Josh, and you have a good night.
Argue against it, but
Yeah, Wilson's
Wilson's the
a
play.
safer play.
agreed.
Yeah. Penny is the most explosive play there, but I think Wilson's the safest play.
Any other questions?
we're all caught up.
All right, guys. Like this is your last chance. We are like finishing up for the night.
Yeah,
If
Brian's
you
about
have
to take a shot.
I'm taking a shot and heading to bed here.
So we're gonna.
So let us know if you got anything. Otherwise, good luck this week, guys.
Yeah, and-
I hope you do well. I hope listening to us did something for you. You know, hopefully in the positive.
Yeah.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Thank you very much.
See you guys all next week.
Good luck. Crush it.
Love ya. See ya.